Welcome in everyone to Inkling Performance Lab's iconic weekly swim or sink number 114. I'm Legato, you can just call me Lily, and I am here with my good friend Rice, whom we like very much.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name's Rice. I go by We Like Rice everywhere online, but again, I just go by Rice most of the time. But yeah, we have actually a very exciting first round match between Trip Hazard versus Octopi. Would you like to introduce our players today, Lily?
I'd be very happy to. On Trip Hazard, we've got Yuma, Plague, Okami, Kata, I think, Perks, and on Octopi, Potato, Tortilla, Star, Slick, QB, Dinla, Rose, and Zero. It looks like we have quite the lineup for both of these teams. Very, very excited to see what they bring out to this first set.
Yeah, these two teams, a little information about both teams is they're actually both low ink banned. Trip Hazard actually getting most recently banned off of their SOS run, I think either 2 or 3 SOSs ago, but they got banned right before low ink, so they were not able to play the last month. But this will be a very close set because these two teams, when they were in low level, had played each other quite often.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and also having a few low ink band teams as well, it'd be very interesting to see where they take things next in this SOS. It looks like first up we'll be seeing them play on Tower Control Sturgeon Shipyard. This is one that I think is a really interesting map, especially I think considering the route the tower takes. I find it kind of interesting, especially defending from here, especially with those rates and stuff like that. It's not necessarily my favorite one, but it'd be very interesting to see what these teams do. It looks like we are going into the first match right now, and it looks like actually on the side of Octopi we have an E-leader now. This is quite interesting as we haven't really seen a lot of charges considering the rise of ballpoint in the recent meta. It looks like we are opening up right now into the game, and Octopi is already going to mid, looking around to slowly find a way into the center of the map, but it looks like Trip Hazard already has a grab out that's being pushed up by this Fine Strike. 2 players have gone down on Octopi already. This looks like this might be Trip Hazard's opening push here.
Yeah, and we can see Trip Hazard using those missiles on the last 2 members of Octopi, just making the 2 members move away. But we can see Potato actually gets a snipe on that heavy spot lane and actually just trying to cover up the tower as the rest of the team rejoins him in the fight.
And it looks like Octopi is still trying to find their way, getting a few picks here and there, defending his tower, managing to get them off as well. With 2 players on Trip Hazard down, Octopi will be able to use this as an opportunity to be able to continue pushing out. It looks like there's a fight happening already in the right pit, and they do go down there, but all 4 actually have gone down on the side of Octopi, ending that push there before they can even get to the first checkpoint.
Yeah, and we can see Trip Hazard already setting up a very aggressive crab on Octopi's side of Snipe, and they're just slowly getting back to that first checkpoint, and they're actually taking care of this core area and making sure they hold control so Octopi can't contest the tower.
Absolutely, we're seeing a great pick coming from the Kraken, causing a bit of distraction here and actually dealing with the backline as well. 2 players down. They're gonna have to really fight their way out of this position now, as they have a really good amount of control over their court. But it looks like as they have jumped out again, Octopi is getting back together, finding their footing, and being able to at least have the tower go back to neutral so they can find their way back into the middle of the game. 3 players have gone down on Trip Hazard now, so Octopi with a little bit of this advantage here can possibly actually get on this tower soon and start pushing up to the first checkpoint.
Yeah, and we can see that Trip Hazard only got past the first checkpoint, giving Octopi some time just in case Trip Hazard makes another offensive push. They still have a checkpoint to work off of. We can see Octopi got to the first checkpoint, but we're not able to actually take the first checkpoint, and we just see they're just playing off mid, just taking it a little bit slow. They know that they need to make sure that everyone's still back in action before they actually push harder.
Absolutely, and Octopi is still waiting for everyone to be back in action at this moment. Looks like they're getting a little bit of pressure here on that drop. It looks like there's a trade that happens there. Two players haven't gone down in Trip Hazard. This still looks like it's in the favor of Octopi now, but they're definitely being pushed back by Kata's Viper there. It looks like they're still gonna have a little bit of trouble trying to get to that first checkpoint, but they are making a pretty good effort. Those missiles coming out is going to be a great opportunity for Trip Hazard to hold this lead even further. Two players having gone down on Octopi already, but two players now down on Trip Hazard. So this is going to, I think, stop them being able to get on that tower for the time being. This is a very patient game both teams are playing right now, really trying to make sure they have control of mid here, I see, but it looks like Trip Hazard finally finds an Inkling to get back on the tower right now.
Yeah, you could also see that Trip Hazard did a really good job just separating the members of Octopi, making sure that Trip Hazard was taking fights 2v1s and not 1v1s.
Yes, absolutely. It looks like we have another Kraken coming out, really going to be pressuring, that high ground here. This is not where you want to be with that Kraken around. Looks like they managed to get a great pick, and that is going to be a game. With that game-ending Kraken right there, really causing a fantastic distraction.
Yeah, and we could see that on the side of Trip Hazard, they actually went with a double Kraken comp. That's not really seen too often, but they made it work, especially with a very strong roller that they have, and their backline being the heavy splat lane.
Absolutely. And now that was definitely a very patient game between both teams. It was very interesting, I think, seeing the Elongate come out. I think that really added to that definitely more patient play style. Not something that we've been seeing a lot in this current meta. But it'll be very interesting to see actually on Humpback Hump track if they continue with this. And also, as you said, the double Kraken comp definitely caused a great distraction, I think. And being able to get those picks, especially towards the end of the game, and especially to really like put a real barrier up against the side that's defending, I think was definitely a good move from them.
Yeah, definitely. And we could also just see Trip Hazard. Well, like I said earlier, we're always taking fights in a 2v1 situation. Octopi never really being able to have the opportunity to maybe like group up, take those 2v1s, take those 2v2s. It was mainly just them getting into situations where they were sort of cornered into like the two left and right sides. We can see that when they were first pushing, they actually got stuck on that right side. But when we're moving on to Rainmaker Humpback, there is, the golden glowing Rainmaker. So everyone's probably going to try to focus on maybe clearing out that right side, giving the Rainmaker a clear path to that first checkpoint.
Absolutely, and we are going into the game right now. It'll be interesting to see if they stick with these comps. The double Kraken was very interesting, and it does look like actually we are seeing some Inkjet come out, an Inkjet on the side of an Inkjet on the side of the Anarchy Nova actually. So Anarchy Nova, what do you think of Anarchy Nova as a weapon in this current meta?
I think it has a lot of potential. I just think the issue right now is like it gets overshadowed by ballpoint. But we can see here that on the side of Octopi, instead of going with that ballpoint option, they go with the Naki Nova, and their backline is actually going to be this Explosher, giving them a lot of paint output onto this map.
Absolutely, it looks like already Trip Hazard managed to take that first checkpoint and have the numbers ready to go and the ink strikes as well to be able to push it even further. This looks like they're taking a very aggressive game. They do manage to get stopped here by Rose on the Explode, I believe, or at least Rose popped out there, it looks like, but Octopi is definitely going to have to work to get mid for themselves, with Potato coming out with Inkjet and actually pressuring mid, but actually being taken out by Trip Hazard already. This looks like Octopi is definitely going to have to be working together here. Looks like they are playing relatively patiently, only moving in when they have the advantage, and they do have a few advantages here with the Triumph Strikes, but they are getting, actually, with the Whale, but they are getting pushed out with the Triumph Strike right now.
Yeah, and we actually...
Yeah,
we can also see that Trip Hazard decided to stick with the double Kraken comp. I think that's just maybe something, weapons that they're comfortable with. And we actually see the Kraken cancel from Dindler, and we see Octopi having a pretty good opportunity to start pushing up.
Absolutely, and I really want to see Octopi be able to get this first checkpoint. It looks like they're going to be going down to those tri-strikes right there. Only 2 players down on Octopi. They're going to have to find an opportunity to regroup here. Trip Hazard has been playing pretty hard and fast against Octopi at the moment, who've been fairly patient throughout this game, but also last game as well. I think they're going to be avoiding this Kraken here. It looks like that Kraken does manage to get, looking around for a pick actually, it looks like 2 players have already gone down on the side of Trip Hazard, so this is going to be Octopi's chance, hopefully, to be able to wait out these tri-strikes and manage to take this first checkpoint. Now, whenever they do get close to this checkpoint, they're constantly being pushed out by something or other, by Trip Hazard, like right there. At least the Kraken is doing wonders here, I think.
Yeah, there wasn't much that the Rainmaker could really do against that Kraken. The Kraken was there when they accidentally dropped down, and just, you know, invincible specials, you can't kill it.
Yeah, that's so true. It looks like they are going to be trying to make this work for them at last. If they can actually make use of that inkjet, but it looks like they are getting pushed out actually by Trip Hazard right now.
Yeah, it's sort of an even game right now, but Trip Hazard does have the lead, and they have most of the mid control. If Trip Hazard wants, they can just play this very slowly, just playing their cards right, playing in mid, and just stalling out Octopi if they like.
Yeah, and I do want to be able to see Octopi be able to actually play around this kind of stalling gameplay that we're seeing if they can find the absolutely right opening, maybe catch them unawares. It looks like they're going for the checkpoint once again, but once again that Kraken coming out, really applying pressure and also helping that player get pinched right now. This is Trip Hazard's really been throwing everything around that little corner whenever the Rainmaker is going there. I think Octopi is definitely going to have to find a way to really get their advantage going if they want to take that little route there from that side of the map. We're going to see the Rainmaker reset here, but the inkjet has already come out and are pressuring Trip Hazard.
Yeah, and something that we also want to be aware of is Trip Hazard does have a cooler on their side with the Tri-Slosher Nouveau, so even sometimes when they go down and Octopi is trying to make a good push out of it, they have the cooler to just come back with the respawn, like within a 1 second respawn, and they also get to keep their special charge.
That is definitely true. However, 4 players have gone down on the side of Octopi. This is going to be Trip Hazard's one of the biggest advantages in the game so far. Even though they have had quite a lot of mid games up, they do actually go down right there with the Rainmaker, but they're going to be holding on to that Rainmaker, just being patient, managing to hold on to this for the last 20 seconds of the game. Now 2 players on Octopi have got their special out. Their special is definitely coming out. They're trying to get this pop, trying to take it back to the checkpoint. Now that Rainmaker has actually been held back for so long, but you know, if you're holding it back that far, you're getting a bit of a disadvantage to yourself. Now Octopi has so much paint there, they can actually find an opening to be able to take this, perhaps even get lead in the last few minutes. Are we going to be going into overtime? It looks like Trip Hazard, all they have to do right now is to get this Rainmaker out of the game, which they do finally with the help of that Kraken.
Yeah, we could see that this whole game Trip Hazard was, again, just playing very slowly, very patiently. They got an early lead, and from there, they just played a really good form of defense, using their Krakens when they needed it, using the cooler when they went down to get respawns, and just using the Tri-Strike to stall out Octopi's pushes. And you could just see that Trip Hazard had the advantage the whole game, and Octopi almost got that last minute push, but Kraken is invincible, and they just swam into the Rainmaker, making that big distraction when someone else came to, I think, flank around from the left side.
Yeah, absolutely. We did see, however, they did bring the Rainmaker pretty far back to try and at least stall it out, to try and keep it in their favor. So having it that far back, and with Octopi being able to actually take them up, gave them finally that opportunity to actually take the checkpoint, which they were definitely going for all game. They did manage to win that fight at the end before being able to move the Rainmaker forward. There could have been a chance there for them to get an overtime lead, but with Trip Hazard having had that paint advantage, that lead as well for pretty much the entire game, that was definitely going to be a difficult thing to do, considering how Trip Hazard was playing a very successful defense for most of that game.
Yeah, what we could also see that Octopi switching to that Expo, it did give them a little more paint, but we'll have to see if they stick with that for Clan Blitz on Museum, or they might go back to that E-Leader. I personally believe this is probably one of the best E-Leader maps that there are out there, and I'm gonna guess Potato might bring it back out.
Yeah, it is I think as well actually. And we are seeing the E-Leader. It looks like Dinla is coming out again with a 96 deco, so they will have a Kraken to help them with their pushes, maybe perhaps even provide jumps as well. And also having the wall I think is pretty good at blocking off or holding certain narrow passageways on this map as well. Looks like already Octopi has tried to get a bit of control over on Trip Hazard's ramp there, but they're being pushed back. We've got Potato on the E-Leader. Already 2 players have gone down actually in the side of Trip Hazard. So this is huge for Octopi right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Potato got both those snipes from mid to give that opening to the rest of his team. And like but the Zuka actually takes them down. They're trying to put that wave breaker down.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like already one player, unfortunately, has fallen into the water. And this 3v3 that we're seeing at the moment, it looks like it's going to be slightly a bit of a stalemate right now, still 50 seconds into the game. But with that wave breaker on the side of Octopi, unfortunately, as 2 players have already gone down, and with Trip Hazard pushing up still slowly but surely, trying to get control over the ramp around that drop, and it looks like 3 players actually have gone down on Trip Hazard. Now, Octopi is playing with a cooler at the moment, so they may be able to make a much bigger advantage for themselves and actually have those, or the times they do go down, be a little bit less punishing in this game. Perhaps they're adapting to the much faster, aggressive playstyle that we've seen in this current meta, but they're definitely going to have to put up a strong fight against Trip Hazard.
Yeah, we could see, unfortunately, 3 people go down on the side of Octopi. I believe they did have the cooler at least, so they should be regrouping fast. But we can see Trip Hazard already moving as fast as they can. But actually, they go 2 down now, and actually, it's going to be 3 down and just the roller in that corner.
Absolutely, who's jumping out right now, giving Octopi a really good paint advantage mid, a lot of great mid control, getting that wall up to help them at least stay safe around that ramp, but it looks like they're seeing Kaza's Wiper trying to push them out, actually just kind of zone them out with the Wiper right there before moving back a little bit. Perhaps if Octopi can win a fight, somehow get those 2 picks and actually be able to push up. They have their specials at the ready for them. Maybe they can make this push work. Finally, they do get the clam in.
Yeah, and they need to be extremely careful of this E-Leader. We saw that the E-Leader got 2 kills from top mid, and I believe they also got a 3rd one to give them that opening. Although they only got this first power clam, it's been half the game and only 1 power clam has been scored.
Yeah, and you really want to be able to get at least a score of 60, perhaps even down into the 50s in order to be able to secure a very strong lead. They do have 10 penalty points to work through as well, but with another power clam and with a few more clams to go ahead, they can definitely have a big strong lead in this game eventually. Now, there are 2 minutes left of the game. We can see play here already setting up some jumps for the rest of Trip Hazard, so this might be really good for them to be able to move in very quickly to try and deal with what Octopi is planning here. Looks like Octopi is trying to set up a good defense here, but with that Kraken coming out, they're going to be pushed back quite a bit, losing a bit of that space and giving Trip Hazard the opportunity to break that, getting 2 power clams in and taking the lead.
And we see the classic power clam jump into the Kraken. That's why the lead of 20 really wasn't that important for Trip Hazard to lose, because they did exactly what they could by just using a Kraken and getting 2 people in with power clams. But we can also see on the side of Octopi, they have that opportunity as well with their own Kraken.
Yeah, they absolutely do, and with the Kraken coming out now, it looks like they're going to be trying to return the favor right now, getting a great pick here. Dinla is definitely providing those jumps. Hopefully they can get those 2 power clams they have in, which they do manage to go. Actually, 2 players going down in the process. They don't have lead yet, though they really need to be able to get someone in there to secure this lead, but Trip Hazard already has their plat, and everywhere around the basket pretty much painted up for them. So that's going to be, I think, a bit of a dead push at that point. Well, they did manage to get that climb in though, but we only have 30 seconds left in the game, and the scores are fairly close.
Yeah, we could see, I think someone from Octopi accidentally overthrew that power clam. They actually had 3 people jumping in, but one got killed before they could actually finish that jump. And we can see Trip Hazard being as aggressive as possible because they know if they let Octopi use this Kraken, they're gonna get this Kraken jump in.
Yeah, you really don't want to have a Kraken jump in the last few seconds of the game. We are going to be going into overtime here. It looks like the Kraken's coming out to try and look around the picks, to try and cause that distraction, at least to hold this lead that they already have. It is only a 10-point lead at the moment, but with 2 players down on each side, it looks like we are just going to be waiting for that overtime to go out, and it looks like Trip Hazard takes the game.
Yeah, I think Octopi was trying to get that Kraken jump in. We saw that Dindler actually had their Kraken ready, but the heavy splatling, I think Parax from the side of Trip Hazard was preventing that jump from actually going through.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate, but having that like difficult jump in, but with the Kraken actually coming out, serving as a fantastic distraction, I think is testament to Trip Hazard's Kraken plays in all 3 games. Really good Kraken plays, actually pretty good game-ending Kraken plays from Trip Hazard, but we've seen also really strong efforts from Octopi as well, especially being able to get that clam in and being able to actually set up some fantastic pushes into the enemy base and getting so much control over that Museum Clams game.
Yeah, definitely. Although the scoreboard says 3-0 for Trip Hazard, Octopi put up really good fights in all 3 of these games, and that last game was definitely the closest that it got.
Absolutely. Fantastic work to both teams.
I believe, we're moving on to round 2. Let me see. Do we know what our next teams will be? Right.
Looks like we're going to be seeing Squidsicles versus Splatsville Idol Group next. So don't go away, anyone. We will be here very shortly with our next round of Swim or Sink number 114.
Hello and welcome back to Swim or Sink 114. We're about to get into our next round. Round 2, we have Squidsicles versus Splatsville Idol Group. Lily, would you like to see... Do you recognize any of these players by any chance?
I have seen a couple of these players in some tournaments before, but I'm not totally familiar with everyone here. I'm very excited, however, to see these two teams play each other.
Yeah, we can see, I think these two teams are still low level. I could be wrong. Again, I'm not super familiar with either of these teams, but I'm sure they'll bring us a great match in this set. We're actually gonna start off on Splatzone's Mako Mart. This is probably one of the most played zones map that we have in this game, and that's for a good reason.
Yeah, absolutely. You have so many options to move out from your spawn, so many options to actually get some like really good high ground positions from both stacks to be able to not only cap the zone, but also to pressure and push up ahead and take more space as well. Even like in saying that, however, with the amount of high ground that you do manage to get from the defending side, there are some really good spots for defense here as well, and retaking is not too much of an issue here, like you get in some of the more choke pointy maps that we're seeing in Splatoon 3 as well, that have kind of become a little bit of a hallmark. With Mako Mart being having so many good routes, I think this is probably one of the reasons why it's become so beloved in Splatoon competitive map pool community, I guess. So I'm excited to see this game once again. It's definitely a favorite of mine to play on.
Yeah, I also think we'll definitely see some buckets, probably a couple inkjets because of Ball Point, but maybe even a roller. This is one of the best roller maps there are.
Absolutely, we are going into the match right now, so we will be seeing what these weapons they are bringing. It looks like we have actually heavy deco, which is interesting, but there we do see the slusher once again on the side of the Squidsicles.
Yeah, this is actually the second time we're seeing a heavy splatling on stream. I guess there's only been two sets, but we're seeing the heavy deco come back out again. I think these teams are finally seeing that Kraken is a very valuable special for you to retake and use as a distraction.
Absolutely, 2 players have already gone down. A classical idol group with the Squidsicles taking the score down to 90 already. It looks like they're looking for a hold here already, with classical idol group kind of getting a little bit split up here, but coming out with the Kraken they made here. It looks like, unfortunately, Gamer comes out with the flank, getting a pick and being able to hold this zone for even longer, as Splatsville Idol Group have been pushed out already. They may be able to find an opening here with those missiles, and they do manage to actually neutralize zone finally, but the Squidsicles are going to be returning with that range of those missiles once again and continuing their hold.
Yeah, we can see though 2 go down, actually a 3rd go down. That Kraken gets cancelled, and there's only the Tetris left on Splatsville Idol Group.
Yeah, this is going to be tough for Splatsville Idol Group to try and fight up against, but they do have quite a lot of good high ground and a fantastic craft coming out as well to hold back the Squidsicles as far as they can possibly be held back here. But 1 player's already gone down, Splatsville Idol Group, 2 players, 3 players in fact. So it looks like in the last few counts of the game, it looks like the Squidsicles are just going to hold this for the last few counts, and they manage to take the score all the way down to 0 in 1 clean push.
Now we could see here that Squidsicles just held control as much as they could, and Splatsville Idol Group using their specials to try to get back in, but Squidsicles just making sure they back off from the zone and just hold the high ground that they have.
Yeah, absolutely, and having that high ground is huge on Mako Mart. Now, I find that on zones Mako Mart, and actually on zones, Mako Mart, in quite a lot of those modes, having that high ground control is super important, especially when you're like playing buckets, when you're playing rollers here, it can be a little bit more dangerous, which is why we do see those weapons come out. But if you don't have those weapons to contest those stacks, to contest those ledges, really, you can definitely have a really strong push by taking control of those stacks and that high ground that you get, that high ground advantage you get from them.
Yeah, although Squidsicles took the first game, Splatsville Idols Group can come back in the second game on Tower Control Manta Maria. What can you tell us about Tower Control Manta Maria, Lily?
Well, we were talking about this just a little bit before, actually, during our break. Manta Maria is, my personal opinion, not my favorite map, but I do think Tower Control here is pretty good, especially with the widened street behind the team's bunker, which can definitely help out with those fights there. But I do also find that with the tower moving through that street, you do have, like, on the defending side, that high ground which you can get a really good defense set up from as well, I find here.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Manta Maria might not be my favorite map, but Tower Control is definitely the most back and forth for this map because, as you said, the tower moves through street, and in this game, the street is a lot bigger and wider, so it makes it a lot easier to actually have engagements there rather than it's just a very narrow tunnel. But we're actually gonna get into the match now.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to be continuing to play this heavy deco, actually. Oh, we are seeing an S-Blast, actually, from Agent 8, and we aren't seeing the heavy deco, but we do see a Slosher, we do see the Nautilus coming back as well, and we saw Gamer's incredible flank in the previous game. I wonder if they're going to be any similar plays here.
Yeah, we can also see that Squidsicles coming out with the double tri-strike composition. They're definitely going to try to use those to clear out bunker and also to move into street when they can.
Absolutely, and the lack of visibility you have when you're in mid over that street, I think, is definitely going to be aided by those tri-strikes. Especially, it looks like Squidsicles already has a really good amount of control over mid, and with that crab coming out, it looks like they do actually have that crab cancelled here. And with a couple of plays that kind of have gone down from Splatsville Idol Group, we are seeing a fairly neutral game at the moment. Still, that tower moving back and forth, barely being able to get points for either team at the moment.
Yeah, it was a bit of a back and forth, but Splatsville Auto Group getting wiped out here gives Squidsicles the opportunity to start moving up and start getting even more points on this tower. But we actually see the splash from Jared goes down, and the Neo Splash actually also goes down as well.
Yeah, we're seeing Abyss and also Agent 8 being able to make really good control of those high ground areas, getting a peek there as well to stop anyone from being able to make use of any of those flanks there and trying to get some control over Splatsville Idol's street. And we're seeing another great pick as well from Agent 8 as well. It looks like Splatsville Idol Group are making a bit of headway here.
Yeah, they actually get to this first checkpoint, and I believe they're actually going to get this unless this Neo Splash from that far right side is able to stop it.
Yeah, with this crab coming out to hopefully end that push for this on the side of the Squidsicles. This game is really close so far with only 2 points different. Now, I do think that Splatsville Idol Group will be able to continue it just for a little bit longer if they manage to get their players back in time, but they are going to be pressured by that Nautilus. It looks like a couple of players have already gone down on the Squidsicles, actually, so if Splatsville Idol Group continue with this really patient push here and actually manage to clear that street, they could perhaps have this tower going a little bit further, but it looks like that push might be it's just a tug of war at the moment, what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's just they're always just, they keep just trading back and forth. One goes down from one side, then another one goes down from the next side. But we see actually Splatsville Idol Group having the advantage now, and they're trying to continue pushing the tower forward.
Yeah, in that pretty much the whole minute of the game, they managed to get 1 point, but here they come with the lead. They really want to get control of the street, but they have a lot of the Squidsicles peek behind them, so you want to be watching out for flanks as well. Already getting pressured here, and a jump coming in. Dino now picking them off at the moment, and it looks like with those tri-strikes coming out, that might be the end of that push for the time being as the Squidsicles get back onto the tower.
Yeah, definitely. We can see that the Squidzicle, they're moving a little slower. They're making sure that they take their time and they actually take 2 down here so they can start pushing this tower.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the Squidsicles are able to be able to actually make make their presence really known on this high ground area. There's three have gone down on Splatsville Idol Group, and those fire strikes are painting up the street, at least giving them space to move in. Now, Splatsville Idol Group has gone 1 player down, 2 players down already, so this push might continue. Holding this lead for even longer if they manage to keep up the rate they're going.
Yeah, and we can see that the Squidzicles actually cleared out that second checkpoint already. So it makes it so that Splatsville Autos Group only has 1 more checkpoint to play off of, and they actually cleared off the tower and are able to start moving the tower back into mid. But there's a lot of map control from Squidzicles.
Absolutely, we're gonna see Abyss backing up just here, just as they are being pressured by that. Ooh, that Nautilus. That Nautilus actually can't really see where the Nautilus has gone, but looks like they're gonna be trying to get those drinks out to be able to actually give themselves a bit of a movement advantage here. But it looks like 2 players have gone down on Splatsville Idol Group already. Agent 8 looking around for the pick on the side, managing to get the Nautilus down, which is huge for Splatsville Idol Group. Perhaps they can continue looking around for picks, initiating the fights that they need, but this bucket is definitely making things difficult for them.
Yeah, this V-Slosher on the side of Squidzicles even earlier was just making such a distraction, making it so Splatsville's Idol Group could not move forward and just stalled out the entire objective.
Yeah, and it looks like that's going to be game. We saw a fantastic push actually from the Squidzicles and also from Splatsville Idol Group, but you see Manta tower control can be a bit of a tug of war, but once you get that tower tugged all the way where you want it to be, then you can really hold that lead for quite a long time, which we saw in that game.
Yeah, definitely. And we saw both sides have a push, but Squidzicles was able to stall out Splatsville's Idol Group's push a lot longer than how Splatsville's Idol Group was trying to stall out the pushes from Squidzicles. We can just see Squidzicles moving in together, making sure that they paint up mid as much as they can, and then taking advantage of their numbers and starting to move up.
Absolutely, and that paint control, as you said, that was definitely a huge advantage that Squidzicles had in that game. So even when they did go down, and we saw it was a very bloodbath kind of match, that one, they were able to move back in fairly efficiently as well. Although, you see, I think both teams played it pretty patiently in that game anyway, even with the scores kind of chipping down very slowly and steadily when they could make it work for them. It might be a different story on Undertow Spillway Rainmaker, however.
Yeah, for Rainmaker, the points go down very fast, and depending on how each team likes to push, there's a left checkpoint and a right checkpoint on Rainmaker Undertow. Lots of teams like to opt for the left side just because they can have a bit of a longer push. But if there's a clear way on the right side, that's some easy points for whichever team takes it.
Yeah, absolutely, and we did see that Nautilus in the first game pull off some interesting like side routes, interesting flanks as well, and also being able to pressure the flank in Manta Maria on their left side was pretty huge for them. So it'd be interesting to see what they make use of Undertow Spillway's map geometry. It looks like we are going into the game right now. I do expect that we'll be seeing that Nautilus come out once again. We're seeing Agent 8 come out with the S-Blast, which is fun to see, and Gamer with the Nautilus as I expected. It looks like they are going to be going into the game right now. Let's see if it's the first pop actually.
Yeah, actually both teams sticking with the same composition that they just used. Maybe both teams knowing that this is the comp that they want to stick with for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Having the drinks from that ends up inside of Splatsville Idol Group, I think is definitely going to be beneficial here in terms of having those movement buffs for their team to be able to push in with the Rainmaker as well. Looks like Gamer manages to get a pick on Abyss, but is being pressured and being moved back a little bit by those missiles, and already Squidsicles has that Rainmaker and are going for the left checkpoint, but it looks like they do go down already with 2 players down the side of the Squidsicles.
Yeah, well, yeah, actually 3 go down, and then this last one, the Neo Splash, actually goes down as well, and then the rest of the team are just respawning right now. But Splatsville Idol Group might have a very big push here.
Yeah, they might. It looks like they are going there, trying to take it to the right checkpoint, which is a very tricky one to take it to, I think, because of how close it is to the opposing team's spawn. Looks like they are shuffling around looking for a pick right there, not managing to get one, but 2 players have gone down on their side. They may have to try and play a little bit safe. Looks like Agent 8 does get picked off there, and Squidsicles have quite a bit of mid control when it comes to paint right now. They're going to be using this to their advantage, trying to push up ahead and set up the front line right now.
Yeah, and it also looks like, I'm not sure if Squidsicles is just shooting on the right side. No, okay, they do start moving towards the left. But actually, Agent 8 taking out, and the wipeout for on the side of Squidsicles. Splatsville Idol Group trying to go for that right checkpoint again.
This is huge, and they do manage to get the right checkpoint, but that ends up going down in the process. It looks like Squidsicles is already looking for that height advantage to be able to defend from, but those missiles coming out, and also all those specials coming out as well, the Tri Strikes, and we'll probably be seeing the Cloud coming out soon, as well as Inkstorm. This might be the opportunity that Squidsicles need to be able to continue to push further, getting a great pick as well on Ari with the Rainmaker. It looks like they do unfortunately go down there though.
Yeah, that was actually a really big, a really good placed Reef Slider, because it actually got rid of the Rainmaker and they were able to just cause a big distraction. But Splatsville Idol Group going 2 down again, and Squidsicles having that numbers advantage and using the Tri-Strikes to clear out mid.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to be trying to push this Rainmaker up, but they keep getting, as every time they take it to mid, I see them going down with the Rainmaker, which isn't good for them. This is not what they want. It looks like that shield is going to be exploding Gamer right there, which is allowing Splatsville Idol Group to set up their wave breaker to move in even further, clear that right side out for them.
Yeah, and like, unlike the last 2 games, all good. Unlike the last 2 games, both teams are, I feel like, just trying to play as fast as they can. And they might want to see if they can slow things down and start taking care of mid and using that map control to their advantage.
Absolutely. Splatsville Idol Group has quite a strong presence here in mid, but it looks like every time this happens, Squidsicles is definitely going to be trying to use their special to try and push back in, and they do manage to chip the score down for themselves just a little bit longer, trying to pop the Rainmaker as well, maybe waiting out for that wave breaker to finish. It looks like they don't get the Rainmaker just there. One goes down again on the side of Squidsicles. This is going to be Splatsville Idol Group's chance to hold this Rainmaker and just very patiently at the moment. Looks like he can actually go down to the bomb there.
Yeah, and we can, I think this is Squidsicles' opportunity to run the Rainmaker. They might opt to go right side. I think they decide to go left, going for the longer push, knowing that they can just stall the Rainmaker here. I think if they pop it and just pick it up, they get the lead from this.
Yeah, absolutely. When the fight is already happening on one side and they have a clear opening to push that Rainmaker on the other side, more often than not, you're gonna move away from that fight and take it where the Rainmaker is safe to go. It looks like, however, the Squidsicles actually have pushed it down to a score of 44 at the moment, but Splatsville Idol Group in the last 20 seconds are gonna have to try and get a lead on the Squidsicles here if they want to be able to take this win. Looks like the Rainmaker is resetting here.
Yeah, and we can see that it's just a big contest in mid. Splatsville Idol Group does get the Rainmaker. This is their one chance, and it looks like they're going for that left push.
Yeah, it looks like if they're able to keep this going, keep this momentum going, not going down, unfortunately, it looks like they do finally go down at the very end before they could make a run for it, with the game going to the Squidsicles taking that set with 3 games to their name.
Yeah, you could have seen, I think if Splatsville Idol Group, if they just took it a little bit slower, it was only that Slosher alive. So if they took that time to identify where they were, they probably would have been able to take them out, and I think they could have gotten the lead off of that.
Yeah, I think so too. That was definitely the opportunity that they really wanted, to be able to push that Rainmaker up to that unkillable area, or maybe those crates or something, to be able to get that lead. But that Slosher was exactly where it needed to be at exactly the right time to just remove that Rainmaker out of the game as they took it into overtime.
Yeah, and that will be the end of round 2. Our third round will be Dark Masters versus Marine Melody. Stay tuned. I don't think this will be a long break until we get into this next game.
All right, we're good.
Welcome back everyone to Swim or Sink number 114. I am Lily and I'm here with Rice. We are going into round 3, Dark Masters versus Marine Melody. Now, Rice, are you familiar with these teams? I definitely know Marine Melody and Dark Masters.
Yeah, these two teams are they're both still in that low level tier, but they're both trying to push to that mid level. Both teams being almost a regular in alpha bracket of low ink. And Dark Masters, I believe, played in SAC last time it was happening. But Marine Melody also just having some strong players. We see Pizza. I recognize Pizza Squid from a team that I scrim pretty often. So these two teams, this has to be a very intense match.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very interested to see how these games go for them. The first match we'll be seeing is Clam Blitz and Barnacle and Dime. Now, I love Clam Blitz. It's my favorite mode in the entire game, and Barnacle and Dime I think has been a very interesting addition to the current season. It's an interesting one because of how those little kind of low ledges work, especially around mid. And there's some interesting routes over into that mid area as well. But the thing is here with Barnacle and Dime is that you can definitely get a very long push going. It does in some ways kind of feel a little bit similar to Umami Ruins in terms of Clam Blitz anyway.
Yeah, I sort of feel like it's sort of similar to like Scorched Gorge, where the clam basket, it's near a high ground that the defending team can just sit on to try to defend, while the attacking team has to try to figure out a way to either take that high ground away from them or try to take that. I believe I'm not sure if there's a rail on this mode, but that top left rail when you're attacking.
Oh, absolutely. And being able to take control, I was thinking Umami because on Umami you do have that dome, which is that high ground which you can take, which kind of actually does remind me a little bit of the snipe area on Scorch. Now that I think about it, we're seeing actually Pizza Squid coming out with the Tri-Slush here, so that's going to be very interesting, seeing the kind of aggressive positions you can get from the Inkjet. On the side of Masters, actually, they have a ballpoint of their own. It looks like they're already making a big amount of getting a lot of pain actually in mid from Marine Melody's side anyway, with that Toxic Mist trying to slow down any movement that Dark Masters have, but Dark Masters is slowly but surely pushing them back already.
Yeah, we can see Dark Masters taking that slower approach to mid, but I think they're gonna come out on top because they actually might get a delayed wipe here. Yes, they do, but we can see Marine Melody having the cooler. They just came back within 1 second.
Absolutely, and with the Crab contesting Dark Master's Inkjet already, it looks like they're going to have to actually returning with another Inkjet of their own. It looks like they're going to be preventing that push from going down even more, but Dark Masters already has a very strong push to 53 so far. Marine Melody making their presence in mid already, slowly being able to hopefully get the clams in order to be able to make a push of their own. It looks like Dark Masters already has one player gone down, but their splash has quite a few clams at the ready, so whenever they want to make their power clam, they've got someone who can score.
Yeah, we can see Dark Masters again taking a bit of a slower approach. They know that they can't fight the aggression of Marine Melody, especially with them having a cooler and without a backline. But we can see Marine Melody slowly pushing up to the side of Dark Masters, and actually the Inkjet coming out, trying to push out that Wiper from that top high ground.
Yeah, definitely. We do see the NSAP already jumping right back in, meaning that their downtime wasn't long at all, but two players have gone down on the side of Marine Melody, giving an option for Dark Masters to be able to retaliate against Marine Melody's pretty strong presence in mid. They are going to be having to contest that Crab, but they have a power clam of their own, and three players have gone down inside Marine Melody. This is exactly what Dark Masters need to get that next power clam in, as that basket was pretty much unchecked.
Yeah, we see that the Tri-Slosher was stuck on this high ground while everyone else was just focusing the basket, but Dark Masters doesn't actually get any score from this, only lowering their penalty.
Yeah, they definitely need to be able to at least keep the clams going in order to get their scores going more in their favor, but they do have a pretty strong lead, however, and they are getting quite a few very, very good picks to enable themselves to at least continue their map control, continue their presence close to Marine Melody's base at the moment.
Yeah, and we can see that Dark Masters using their specials to slowly take control. They're using the Crab to counter one Crab, but actually this The crab on the side of Marine Melody goes down, but actually they lose the inkjet on the side of Dark Masters.
Yeah, we saw that crab go down, especially Dark Masters being able to get around behind it, but it looks like Marine Melody's already pushing up very quickly, getting those strikes out to hopefully make a pathway for them around to the basket. But actually getting that wipeout is huge for them because it means that they don't have anyone behind them that can stop their push, and that inkjet also coming out is fantastic to see. It looks like 3 plays have gone down from Dark Masters. Marine Melody, if they manage to get a whole heap of more clams, then they can probably take lead here with 1 minute into the game, and it is going to be close, but we're seeing that jump in, getting that lead right there. That, you see, that's what I love about having a cooler comp, being able to get those jumps in so quickly as well. They're continuing this push down to 21, even looking around for more clams. Let's see how far they can actually keep this going.
Yeah, Marine Melody cycling these clams so well. They only need 4 more to actually win this game. But I think Dark Masters will be able to stop this push.
Yeah, it looks like they did it very, but they only have 40 seconds left to be able. Well, getting the wipeouts are definitely going to help Marine Melody actually, but they only have half a minute left to be able to come back and get a lead on Marine Melody at the moment. In these last 30 seconds, what do you think Dark Masters really needs to be doing here?
I think the first thing they need to try to do is get rid of that Tri-Slosher, which they did, and I just think they need to try to get back into mid, whether they use this inkjet to help them get in, or they use this crab tank.
Yeah, and it looks like as plays are already starting to go down, Marine Melody, Dark Masters slowly coming back, but with 6 seconds left, they really need to have more players closer to the basket. They need to get a stronger presence going as we go into overtime. They have still the entire match to traverse almost to get that power clam in. It looks like it's just going to be a race against the clock at the moment. 3 players have gone down the side of Dark Masters. It looks like this is going to be difficult for them, especially up against that crab, and it looks like, excuse me, yep, they do go down there with that clam as well, and that is going to be game. Marine Melody giving us an amazing show there, especially with that incredible push, getting a lead on Dark Masters.
Yeah, you can. You know what they tell you? The game isn't over until the very end. And if you were seeing the first half of this match, you would be thinking Dark Masters won this game. But no, Marine Melody coming back with a extremely strong push, getting 2 power clams in and just cycling around the mini clams to just keep that basket open. They almost got that knockout, but they still just held as much control as they could.
Absolutely, and that was a very, very good coordinated push from Marine Melody. Now, Dark Masters did manage to get a second, that other power clam in, but without that backup, that was definitely, I think, Marine Melody's opportunity to realize, okay, you know what, they're not getting any more points off this. Perhaps we can take this opportunity to actually get our short-range weapons right up in the face of Dark Masters and cycle those power clams, because that's something that Dark Masters didn't do at that moment. Cycle those power clams and actually get a huge lead on Dark Masters by the very end.
Yeah, we could see that during that whole game, either the wiper from Dark Master's side or the Tri-Slosher from Marine Melody was creating those openings. I wonder if those 2 players will be able to keep doing that on Splat Zone's Flounder Heights.
Absolutely, and having a Tri-Slosher, the V-Tri coming on Splat Zones would definitely be good, playing around those ledges, being able to make very good positions for an inkjet, especially right up over the top of those very high walls, looking over both of those Splat Zones that we have here. And, you know, not only is that a good way to stay safe high up and, yeah, look for picks and actually also paint the zones, because I think you can even reach the zone if you're reach the opposite zone pretty far back on your side with an inkjet. But also I find that here with not just the inkjet creating those openings for your team to push in, I also find that that the Toxic Mist is a pretty good way to at least hold certain areas or slow down what the other team is trying to be doing here.
Yeah, I don't expect Marine Melody to not bring that Tri-Slosher in. I feel like especially Flounder Heights, is one of the best Tri-Slosher maps. But we could also see the Nouveau version. Cooler is very meta right now, but they also do have that end zap, so you never know.
Yeah, try saying Tri-Slusher. Actually, try saying that 10 times quickly. Looks like we are going to be going into the match right now, but it looks like unfortunately we have a bit of a we might have to restart that actually.
Yeah, I think there's a communication error. But yeah, I think try sloshing, try slosher.
Yeah, it looks like that's so difficult to say, but you know, it's a very difficult weapon I find to play as well. I've been enjoying picking up Tri Slosher recently, actually, especially when it comes to Splat Zones on Flounder Heights. Now, Flounder Heights, some people love it, a lot of people hate it. It's definitely one of those maps where you're going to be bringing out weapons that you might not necessarily play on other map mode combinations in Splatoon 3, but you know, Tri-Sloshers are definitely weapons that we are seeing strong in quite a lot of maps and modes at the moment. So it's not too different. It might not be too different for a lot of teams to bring it out once again, you know, Flounder Heights and Splat Zones either.
Yeah, definitely. And I know from like the people I talk to a lot, they at least before this most recent patch, they always say there's a flounder meta and there is a everything else meta. And the reason for that is because Crab Tank wasn't that strong on this map. So a lot of teams opted out to just drop that Crab Tank and then just decide to go for like a different type of comp. And we still see that on Flounder. I haven't seen too much of it, but we saw a lot of people going with that machine, going with Tri-Sloshers, and I think that's what we're gonna keep seeing on Flounder Heights.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not necessarily the most forgiving map to backliners. There are very I think there are probably like minimal spots you can defend from with like a leader or something that you saw very early on in Splatoon 3. But also, like with a Crab Tank, I find there are also, like as a Splash player, I've always felt there are minimal spots I can really get the most out of a Crab Tank. And if you're in your spawn area, if you're trying to create an opportunity to move back in with a Crab Tank, it's not as successful as an Inkjet. Which has not only the height advantage from being up in the air, but also being able to use that height advantage to find picks, to pressure the areas which you want your team to move in from as well. It's just something that I find particularly strong here.
Yeah, definitely. Again, I also agree. As a Splash player myself, I really hated using the vanilla Splash here. I always tried to opt for the Neo Splash here just because I thought the Tri-Strikes could clear out a lot more for my team. And I do think a lot of people love using Tri-Strikes, especially for Splat Zones Flounder, because one strike can pretty much cap the zone for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, speaking of weapons that can cap the zone very quickly, I have seen like some clips on Twitter of Big Swig or Big Swig Express being able to cap the zone in like one flick. I don't know if either team will be bringing that out, but you know, I always find it very funny when people are playing Big Swig on this map. I think it's somewhat an underrated weapon myself, actually.
I think Big Swig, especially the new Express one, with Inkstorm, can play on Flounder Heights so well. Just outputting that paint and putting that pressure on the enemy team.
Yeah, definitely. I'm curious to see actually how both of these teams manage to make use of the interesting geometry that we got on Flounder Heights. Now, Marine Melody set up seems to like to set up very quickly. Even if they do go down the process, having drinks on their side could definitely help them move back in and continue their presence around the middle of the map, which is really where you want to be here on Flounder Heights. But with the relatively more patient play style, of Dark Masters, that might be a little bit of a problem for them if they want to start pushing up, taking up further space. And if Dark Masters manage to set up a really good defense and win the fights they need, then of course they can start pushing up as well. Looks like we are going into the game. Pizza Squid on the Tri-Slosher once again, and really playing the NZAP I think is going to be a great combination for both of them, but we are seeing actually the an end try on the side of Dark Masters as well.
Yeah, we also see the Hydra Splatling on the side of Dark Masters. Definitely trying to use the range of the Hydra to just slow down Marine Melody, and I think they're doing a really good job to start off with.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting the 2 zones already in their favor. Looks like the Hydra is definitely going to be trying to use the range it has to be able to clear out that area, being like a deadly laser for Marine Melody to walk into. However, they do get picked up, and Marine Melody is going to try and find a way to survive these missiles and actually get those tri-strikes, hopefully to be able to move up and take the zone for themselves, which they do right here, although going 2 down in the process. 2 down side of Dark Masters, however, as they try and hold that zone. Marine Melody perhaps even getting lead here.
Yeah, we also see that Marine Melody going with the double slosher comp with the V slosher and the V try. I think they honestly chose this because this is one of the best slosher maps there are out here.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. And you know what you were saying about those tri-strikes? That does mean they have the double tri-strikes as well with the T-Tech. They have their drinks ready to go, which they're going to be setting out right now. But with 1 player down on each side, actually, Marine Melody is kind of staggering here a little bit, but they're trying to find their way back in. It looks like Dark Masters actually manages to get the zone, but they need to be able to hold this for longer to be able to get a lead on Marine Melody, who's definitely throwing all their ink at them with the sloshes that they have.
We actually see 3 down for the side of Dark Masters, and Marine Melody coming back, taking the 2 zones, and just holding control, holding the control of the 2 zones again.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like we're seeing... Oh, they get picked up. I was excited for that inkjet play, but they do manage to get fantastic pick, actually. Mark's picking off that inkjet as soon as it was being popped out. Now, Dark Masters retaliating also with the tri-strikes, but they don't manage to find an opening with that. They're going to be throwing a bomb, perhaps at least to try and push out Marine Melody from that other zone. But Marine Melody still coming back strong with their sloshes, just throwing their paint at the zone. Looks like they're able to hold this lead just for a little bit longer, but 2 plays going down in the process. Those tri-strikes not really being able to help them get back in here. It looks like Dark Masters might be able to find an opening, perhaps, if they can get all their team exactly where they want it to be. We see the Hydra already with their Booyah Bomb at the ready to try and move out the other players, getting coordinating really well also with the tri-strikes.
Yeah, we can see that Dark Masters, they're playing off the trenches very well, just being able to clear out anyone who tries to drop down there and slowly moving up to the other side.
Yeah, it is definitely a slow and patient push up ahead from the side of Dark Masters, but we can see them already having this control. It looks like they're set up pretty much where they want to be with Marine Melody all the way down in the low ground, but another kick actually that on Pizza Squid there. It looks like they are going to be pushed back. However, the score is so close. You're losing 1 point on either side. If Dark Masters can actually paint up the other zone, they might be able to get a lead, which they do very briefly, and then they get wiped out. Marine Melody. This looks like the last game where they were actually Marine Melody had the disadvantage for almost the entire game. Looks like it's kind of almost swapped around the other side with Dark Masters being able to get a really big push towards the last minute of the game.
Yeah, definitely. We can see that Marine Melody is slowly moving back in, but actually 1 goes down, 2 goes down, and Dark Masters just holding control of the zones.
Yeah, getting another wipeout as well. This is huge for them. They're in a great position right now, and being able to hold those zones right down to the count of 0, being exactly where they wanted to be, making it very difficult for Marine Melody to climb back up those walls.
And I didn't mention this earlier, but we saw the respawn Punisher on the Hydra Splatling. They knew Marine Melody is a team that likes moving up really fast with those short-range shooters, mainly using a lot of short-range weapons. they probably brought out the respawn punisher on the Hydro Splatling to try to punish anyone trying to move too fast.
Yeah, absolutely, and that definitely worked out in their favor in that game where Marine Melody, although they were able to move up very quickly and had some fantastic advantages over Dark Masters in terms of having that speed in their favor. Dark Masters being able to play patiently, being able to do what they can to actually slow down Marine Melody and coordinate their specials exactly to prevent Marine Melody from being able to take that speed that they were really playing for. I think Dark Masters by the very end definitely were able to hold them out in exactly the way they wanted. Now, Tower Control Macromart is going to be next. The teams are currently at one win each per match, so this set can go either way. We did see 2 buckets come out for Flounder Heights on the side of Marine Melody. They might opt to bring them back here because we do like playing buckets on Macromart, don't we?
Indeed we do, but also this is going to be tower control, so this is either going to be very fast or very slow. It just depends on how the two teams like to approach the map mode.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like Dark Masters coming out with a Hydra again, but they are actually opting for V-Splash this time, giving them the Inkjet, which I think is pretty interesting.
Yeah, we can also see there's no longer a cooler on the side of Dark Masters, but actually 3 going down on the side of Marine Melody, and actually the wipe. So Dark Masters gets this opportunity to start pushing up.
Yeah, we saw them actually being able to take Marine Melody's stack as well. That was huge for them, and already setting up a really aggressive Inkjet as well to try and hold out anyone from Marine Melody from being able to defend their push at this moment by taking that area, which Marine Melody really wants to be on, to be able to stop Dark Masters from getting that checkpoint. But it looks like they already moved it close to the checkpoint. If they're able to hold this, it looks like those prime slushes, those 2 slushes actually, looks like they do manage to pick off Marine Melody's prime slushes there, but they're going to be pressured off the tower by that bomb. 3 plays have gone down inside Marine Melody. Dark Masters just needs to keep up this momentum and they have the game.
Yeah, and the combat Marine Melody, they have to be extremely careful because they have no backline to actually prevent the pushes, and an extremely fast game from Dark Masters.
Yeah, it was either going to be a very slow one or a very fast one, and we did end up seeing that really fast one. Dark Masters no longer playing patiently. They just threw themselves exactly to the positions that they wanted to be in, and their positioning, as we saw in Flounder Heights, was led to a really strong lead in that game, but also tower control, being able to get up on Marine Melody's stack so early on in the game, and also being able to use the Inkjet to kind of flush them out of the really good defense positions that Marine Melody really wants to get up onto, just allowed that tower to just steamroll through those checkpoints. Fantastic games from both Marine Melody and Dark Masters, I gotta say.
Yeah, and that'll be the end of the group stages. And next up will be Top Cup. I believe we have an ad to read for you guys.
But now, Jake, you are stacking on a ton of damage, and the crowd goes wild. A lot of special being unleashed on this one right now. Very, very nice sniper. Nice double sniper.
Oh! Smoke, and that uses up his invincibility time.
No.
Here's the answer. There's the dunk, and Kagasol wins.
Are we good? Like, yeah, you just saw an ad about Riptide 2023. Riptide 2023 is taking place in Sandusky, Ohio. It's gonna be a water park resort, but we're gonna have a bunch of events there. There's gonna be a Splatoon tournament, Smash tournaments, and Mario. New to Riptide will be Mario Kart 8 and Rushdown Revolt. If you guys are near the area or are interested in spectating, or even want to play, you can get all this information on the start.gg/Riptide website. And then
also coming up soon on July 15th and 16th, 2023 is Gridlock at Brooklyn, New York's home for gaming. So this is going to be, also you can find more information on start.gg/Gridlock if you're interested. Now this is coming up very soon, so if you want to participate, I would definitely recommend going to the website and getting the information as soon as possible.
And I believe that'll be it for us today, Lily. Where can the fine people find you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at LilyGravyBread, and you can also find me streaming on Twitch.tv as well. Same username, LilyGravyBread. That's Lili Gravy Bread, all one word. It's been fantastic, actually. Commentating with you. Wait, I think we are still actually going to be doing another round together before we move on.
Oh, okay. I thought we were switching over. My bad. Yeah, okay.
It's
I believe
still a good time to plug each other though.
Yeah, well, you can also find me on the same websites on Twitter and Twitch at We Like Rice. It's both the same tags for both Twitter and Twitch. But yeah, I thought we were done. We are doing one more round of Top Cut round 1. I think we'll take a little bit of a break for the team, for the staff team to actually start seeding, and we'll be back really soon.
Welcome back everyone to Swim or Sink number 114. I'm Lily Bread, but you can call me Lily, and I am here with Rice and will be with you for the first round of the Great White Bracket. We'll be seeing Guh play against Toba's Birthday Bash.
Yeah, we have, this is going to be the first round of Great White. On the side of Guh, we have, I believe these are some +3 players, and on the side of Toba's Birthday Bash, we have, I recognize Wug as one of the heads of MIT, which is, I don't remember what that stands for. I think it's Molloy Institute. Yeah, Molloy Institute.
Another fantastic organization that hosts really good tournaments as well. But also, we have Toba also from the same team as Wug, which I believe is the Flying Dutchman. So it'll be very interesting to see these two teams play against each other. Actually, do you have anything you would like to say about these players? Actually.
Not too much. I don't recognize exactly every of them or all of them. I just recognize a couple of them, but I'm sure this will be a great and intense match because this is the first round of our group stages.
Absolutely, and this is, I believe, going to be a best of 3 single elim bracket as well. So one team will be moving through to round 2, and one team will be eliminated from the tournament. The first match we'll be seeing is a Rainmaker on Museum. Think of this one.
Yeah, Rainmaker on Museum, I think this is a pretty commonly played map mode. It's, there's only one checkpoint for Rainmaker on this map, but there's also a great flank route on the right side of each team's spawn. So we'll probably see a lot of players trying to go for that flank.
Yeah, absolutely, and we are going to the game right now. I'm curious to see what they do manage to bring to this. I know that Wug is a junior player, so I wonder. Actually, we're seeing a roller on the side of Toba's Birthday Bash, and also a double inkjet come from the side of Guh, which is going to be very interesting. Also with the tactical, this is, I think, going to allow for some very speedy plays. You already see someone, Wumi, pressuring the ramp, pressuring the flat, trying to get some space out in front. Trying to at least hold back Toba's Birthday Bash if they do manage to drop down. And one player has already gone down on the side of Guh. It looks like that Wiper is out of the game at the moment. We can see Toba already just making sure that they're staying alive here up on their plat, but 2 players have gone down on either side now.
Yeah, and we can see that Guh is gonna probably get this checkpoint. No, actually they don't get this checkpoint, and we see that they go down 1, but they still have pretty good map control in mid.
Yeah, and as you say that, actually, Toba's Birthday Bash is already trying to look for picks. Unfortunately, they do go down on the side there, with looking around, making sure that that flank is definitely unsafe for Toba's Birthday Bash to make any good use of. But it looks like, however, the score hasn't really managed to go anywhere for Toba's Birthday Bash yet, with Guh making a very strong presence around the middle of the map at the moment.
Yeah, when we can see the tacticaler comes out for the side of Guh, and they're probably going to be close to an inkjet. They do have this double inkjet comp. The 2 inkjets will probably make a great opening for whenever they want to start pushing in.
Yeah, they do have to wait out Toba's inkjet at the moment, which is looking around, trying to pressure certain important areas that Guh really wants to try moving into. They do manage, we see Delta Div managing to pick up the Rainmaker here, and Soletta already moving up onto the plant, trying to look for pigs, trying to really force back Toba's Birthday Bash so they try and actually get this checkpoint at last. And we see the double inkjet already moving up, creating a very, very aggressive front line up in the sky for Guh at the moment. Already it looks like 2 players have gone down on Guh, but they're holding onto this Rainmaker. They're being pressured back by the inkjet and also being pushed off right here. There's a fantastic defense from Toba's Birthday Bash that stops any more points going down in the favor of Guh at the moment. Although they do have a score of 50 in their favor at the moment.
Yeah, Guh can play off of this checkpoint if they want. They can try to stall it out with specials, but actually they go 2 down, and I think Toba's Birthday Bash actually will get this checkpoint with that wipeout on the side the side of Gut, and they continue this push. Probably gonna get the lead from this.
Absolutely, and you're right, Rice. That was certainly a lead that Toba's Birthday Bash was definitely looking for, aided by that wipeout as well. It looks like they are going to be perhaps pushed out just a little bit by Gub, but now with 2 minutes left in the game, the score is still pretty close. Either team may want to continue playing fairly aggressively to be able to at least get a stronger lead, or in the case of Gub, playing aggressively with those Inkjets and IB Wumi actually getting picked off, unfortunately, as their ultimate came out. Perhaps they're looking for the right moment to be able to come back in, but 3 plays have gone down on the side of Gut at the moment. It's not going to be their chance just yet.
Yeah, but we can also see they're regrouping really fast, and I think that's because of the tactic cooler on the side of Ga. And they actually have another cooler out, although the NZAP goes down without picking up a soda, but the rest of their team can actually take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like still Ga is trying to make the Rainmaker push further up there, Toba's Birthday Bash's flat, but unfortunately as 2 plays have gone down on either side, and another one down on Toba's Birthday Bash. This is going to be a difficult defense for Toba's Birthday Bash to try and deal with. However, they are managing to get this Rainmaker down fairly consistently, which is fantastic news for them, as they can hold their minimal lead for perhaps another minute.
Yeah, and we can see Gut, they're trying to paint up mid, trying to play off specials, but on the side of Toba's Birthday Bash, they're just playing a really good defense, making sure that they have their plat covered and just using their specials whenever they see the need to when they're trying to play defense.
Yeah, Shallow coming out with the Inkjet already on the side of Gut. It looks like they're going to be at least creating some space for Gut to be able to find an opening in, but Toba's Birthday Bash still trying to get some picks on the side of Gut, getting out that wiper as well. This looks like that numbers disadvantage might still make it a little bit difficult for that Rainmaker to go through, especially when they are up against a defense that Toba's Birthday Bash has really been setting up. With 10 seconds left on the game, 3 plays down on the side of Gut. Toba's Birthday Bash just needs to hold this. This is a really close game for both teams. It looks like with Soletta getting that pick at the very end, unfortunately, that is not going to be enough to take anything into overtime. And it looks like Toba's Birthday Bash manages to take that first game just by a hair, getting that really good defense to stop Guff from being able to make any further aggressive plays, especially with that double Inkjet, which we saw them, and there's the fist bump as well at the very end. Which we saw that double Inkjet, I was gonna say, we saw that double Inkjet really playing together, making it so difficult for Toba's Birthday Bash to defend against that really big push, not just to that checkpoint, but just that little bit further as well on Toba's plat there.
Yeah, but the double Inkjet, they might have, I think it could have been a better idea if they try to stagger it out a little bit. It just seemed like times they had the double jet active at the same time. They're both aiming for the same area when they could theoretically, like how crab loops worked, they could use one Inkjet to cover one side and then loop another Inkjet to cover that side again for an extended period of time.
Yeah, definitely. At least with having a double Inkjet, you can do that. But if you are going to be popping them at the same time and also going to the same place, although Inkjet is famously a very difficult special to counter at the moment, because of the movability you have, the amazing jump you have up in the air, it can be quite difficult to counter and definitely scary to come up against 2 of them. But having those staggered, I think, is definitely going to help create a much longer opening, which is what it looked like Gar really needed in that game. Being able to keep their opening going, to be able to push their Rainmaker up further. Now we are going into Clam Blitz on the Humpback Pump Track now.
Yeah, and we see the rollers still coming out from the side of Toba's Birthday Bash. I think both sides stuck with the same comp. They both probably thought this is the comp they're gonna probably stick with for the rest of this set.
Yeah, absolutely. We can already see Ga kind of spreading out, trying to take up as much space as possible and move around very efficiently to try and pick anyone off. It looks like one player has gone on either side so far, where we can see Shallow already taking up a good amount of high ground, but Soletta going down right there, and also the Gal going down on the side of Toba's birthday bash. It looks like a good opportunity for Ga to start that push. They just need to make sure they have enough clams to do it. We can see the Inkjet coming out looking for a pick as well, unfortunately going down mid-air.
Yeah, and we can see Ga actually they got wiped out, and this is Toba's birthday bash's opportunity to push up and try to score a power clam.
Yeah, absolutely, and we can see them with that opening, with opening up some space with that Inkjet as well. However, Ga is really applying a lot of pressure here, forcing them back slowly and surely before they can actually make use of that advantage to be able to push back in. But we can see them coming out also with the whale to try and at least try and find an opening or make that fight go in their favor. But we still have a fair amount of stalemate happening as no one has scored just yet.
Yeah, and we can see Wug moving in without roller, but actually gets taken down. But they take out the wiper on the side of Ga, and Ga actually having, I believe, no, they did not have the numbers advantage. It's actually an even game, and it's just a very big game of neutral in mid right now.
It is. Ga, however, has shown to really be able to move up and push Toba's birthday bash out of the way whenever they can, but it looks like Toba's birthday bash coming out with the crab. Perhaps they can play off this. They just need to get all their team members ready to actually make that move. But you know, with 3 players going down right there, Ga instantly has that mid control. They just need to get that power clam in, which they do manage to right there with the support of the Inkjet, getting a couple of great picks, 3 great picks actually. Toba's birthday bash is going to be struggling here to try and get their act together to really defend this. And we can see actually Soletta trying to get some clams passed around, sharking around just in case anyone from Toba's birthday bash pressures them on the side here. It looks like they do manage to pop the Inkjet here, but as things are looking, it doesn't seem that they have scored a huge amount here at the moment.
Yeah, this is definitely still a winnable game for Toba's birthday bash, but Ga, if the first half of this game is the same as the second half, you never know. The Toba's birthday bash might not even get an opportunity to score.
Absolutely. In the previous game, Ga did manage to get the first checkpoint, but Toba's birthday bash with one very strong push managed to get a really good lead on them, and also managed to successfully defend that lead really well in that first game. It looks like they are getting their first, and they may even be able to get lead here. The score is tied at the moment, getting down to 68. This is a very small lead, but they do get wiped out right there as Toba's birthday bash once again with that instant mid retake, and the players moving in very quickly to try and stop Toba's birthday bash from being able to push in even further. This looks like the fight for their lives at the moment, as with 1.5 minutes left, Ga is really doing everything they can to try and get all the clams they could possibly need and have everything in order to keep their push going. But you know, these scores are extremely close.
Yeah, we can see that Toba got their score off of a sneaky flank, but they went 4 down, and that was the opportunity for Ga to get that second push. But are we gonna see a second wave? We see the flank again from the side of Toba, and they take the lead back.
Yeah, and that was a really impressive big bubble placement. You do get that jump spot from the big bubble, and it's somewhat a little bit safer as well. We see Toba coming out with the Inkjet, but all 4 players on Toba's birthday bash are going down. They still have a lead, and they just need to hold this lead for the next 45 seconds of the game. Ga is still going to be looking around to try and find another opening, because they only need a few power clams, I think. They still need a few power clams to be able to get a lead on Toba's birthday bash at the moment. And it looks like they are getting the first one in, the Inkjet coming out. Looks like getting pressured by Wug and Stormy there. It looks like if they're able to make a really successful defense here, Toba's birthday bash might be able to get this game in the last 20 seconds.
Yeah, and we can see even if Ga gets one more power clam in, they're gonna need 2 more smaller clams to actually take the lead. They do have this pity clam to use, and they actually take 2 down, but the wiper goes down for the side of Ga, and I don't know if they'll have enough resources to actually get in to make a second score.
yeah, it just comes down to this Tri-Slusher having enough clans, but they need to get the backup from the rest of their team. And with 2-3 players going down on the side of the gut, it looks like Toba's Birthday Bash just needed to be able to defend any further pushes as we go into overtime. It looks like as they move further up to try and stop anyone on gut being able to move back in, it looks like Toba's Birthday Bash manages to secure that win for themselves, taking the set 2-0.
Yeah, and this game was very slow to begin with, but we see that Toba Birthday Bash comes out on top towards that second half, just being able to get those flanks in while Ga just really wasn't paying attention to where they were coming from and just taking too much time to play that neutral game.
That is so true, Rice, and I do love those flanks that you can actually implement very successfully on Humpback Pump Track. Really good, like, jump to the bubble as well to get that power climb in as well in that game. But you know, both teams played extraordinarily well, and in both games as well. I honestly did not know who was going to be winning that until around the very end of the game. So extremely close matches, extremely well played from both Ga and Toba's Birthday Bash. I hope Toba's having a fantastic birthday as well. I believe, however, that is going to be it from our commentary block, and we will be sending you over to the next lot of commentators. Let's plug ourselves one more time. Rice, where can we find you?
Yeah, everyone, I'm Rice. You guys can find me on Twitter and Twitch. My ats are We Like Rice. I believe it is in the chat if you want to see where that is. But Lily, where can the fine people find you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter and Twitch as well at Lily Gravy Bread. All one word, that's Lili Gravy Bread. As in the food gravy and the food bread. It's nice to be it's absolutely lovely to be commentating with someone who also has a delicious food in their name as well. But that'll be it from us. Stay tuned for the next rounds of Great White Bracket.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Great White Bracket of Swimmer Sync 114. Once again, it is I, Mad Gamer II, back again, and I'm joined by the lovely Saf. How are you doing, my friend?
Oh my goodness gracious, Maddie. Great White Bracket is here again this week, and we have Bad versus Elongate. Two, I believe, pretty good contenders coming in here. Bad being on the higher end of the divisions, definitely during Ludi. I remember getting to cast a couple of their matches. And also Elongate. And actually, if you look over on that that team photo, is that Genie?
I want to say that's Genie. There's just so much going on in that photo right now. It's like, what even?
Oh, is he dunking on LeBron James? My guy.
Dang, my guy's got some goals there.
That's incredible. Coming up though, Maddie, looking into these stages, starting off the top 8, we have Tower Control on Inkblot Art Academy. Honestly, the one and only, the old reliable. I love calling this one old reliable because it usually is the deciding factor in a lot of matches that come down to the wire, that come down to the 5th game, that come down to the 7th game, but we get to see it first. So there's going to be a really strong contending matchup here right out the gate in Great White.
Oh, I know. It's like Inkblot Art Academy Tower Control. It's like, if it's not picked in the beginning of the set, it is like always the go-to. So getting it out of the way right here is gonna start these teams off strong, especially considering we got Rainmaker and Clamblitz for our second two. Is like those tend to be the wild card modes. So like starting off with a nice staple like this can really set the pace of the set as the teams just feel out how each of them are playing tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope both are feeling pretty good. I mean, we are, once again, I'm going to repeat, in top 8. We are also coming off, if you celebrate, America's birthday was yesterday, Maddie, in case you didn't know. So a lot of celebratory energy coming into this Swimmer Sync this week after a fun day of celebrating America, if you celebrate that sort of thing. Fireworks going to be going off here as we get started right in here, folks. Heck yeah, top 8 coming at you right now. Maddie, what are we looking at?
Well, right there is an E leader, and Genie is not going to be happy with that. Playing on the ballpoint, splatling, going up against backline picks like that is like, especially on Inkblot, where it's a small map. It's like there's not a whole lot of room to really run around. But we already see oh my goodness, the splash getting picked off by the E leader immediately. That's just going to set the pace already. Like, Bad taking the tower right off the bat. Like, we're not even 20 seconds in, they're going for that first checkpoint.
Yeah, Bad? More like good. Very, very good for Bad as we go into this first checkpoint. However, 2 members now going down. The Crab is online, though, for that dually, and as I say that, the dually goes down as well. Super strong open for Bad, but you just have Genie coming in here on that Inkjet going down with the trade with the Tri-Slosher, but the members of Bad are quick to respond, Maddie. 3 of them already up and around this tower. You have Locke getting really close to that tower, kind of playing it safe, though. Looking to see back at this right stack here, maybe for some coverage, waiting for their teammates to come in, maybe provide them a little bit of defense, a little bit of space to where they can feel comfortable once again. And they're still going to keep that tower moving on to checkpoint 2.
Yeah, this is the scary bit of having this map mode. It's like, we see the specials just getting changed so well together. Like, with the Crab got shut down pretty early, but now with the Inkjet online, they're able to take control of these bats here, and that's really what you want, and they are able to chew through that second checkpoint. And with 44 in this like first minute here, like, we finally see Elongate getting some ground of their side of the map, able to stop the tower, but they had quite a bit of a runaway with that in the first half, and there's still quite a bit of yellow paint out there.
Yeah, and one thing too to note, Maddie, Elongate had really good control of their platform area. I mean, it stayed consistently purple even with that tower moving past that second checkpoint. And the members of Elongate were really keen on making sure to keep bats within their control. And you can see it happening right here with Genie and David pairing up together here, taking down 1 member of Bad in the process. 3 still up though with that cooler online as well. The Crab Take is going to try to get set up back into the spawn area and is going to take another member of Elongate down with it. That tower though is still moving for Bad at this moment here, and they only have 1 more checkpoint to go before it's the game banners cross the screen.
And we saw Genie there jump out right as they were trying to get that pick, and we saw they had the Inkjet on hand. That was an excellent play right there. They were able to stall the tower, allow their teammates to spawn back in, but Badge is... Oh my, that's going to be a wipeout right there. They have so much control of their plat now. Like, we saw the aggression coming out from the dualies in the bucket already, but now that they got the wipeout, they just have a straight shot to that final KO as long as they can get through this third checkpoint. It's going to be Elongate's last stand for this match. They are able to get the 2 picks and then possibly the jump as well, so they might be able to be saving this match before it ends.
Absolutely. Down to the 10 mark, though, Maddie, for Bad. That's looking pretty good for them, I want to say. You have Genie on this ballpoint here. Once again, wonderful Inkjet gameplay that we got to see from them earlier, too. They are going to try to ride this tower back into mid. You can see the members of Elongate aren't going to waste any time trying to push forward and apply the pressure. But, unfortunately, with one going down in the process against Benny, but Genie able to respond on that Inkjet, though, and take them out. Looks like Locke and who is that? Kairu, excuse me, couldn't read for a second. Kairu were trying to maybe push Genie back a little bit, try to take the pressure off of Logan kind of coming down the side with those dualies there, but kind of a fight for mid at the moment. We're in the neutral game at this point in time. Elongate really trying to look to get some points on the board here, Maddie.
They're able to get 3 so far, but already Bad is taking back control. Like, to be honest, they didn't seem to have lost much of that to begin with. They did get 3 of their members down, and they had to fall back, but again, we just saw so much yellow out that they are able to take that ground almost immediately, and so we see the 2 members down, the grab is popped, and Genie's just forced to back up here. We're gonna have to see if they're gonna fight, get the drop on these dualies, but so far, Bad taking control of Elongate's plat in this last minute. Like, they are gonna be losing 2 of the members, but that just stalled out for so much time there.
I was holding out hope for Logan there, trying to go in for the double pick, able to take 1 down in the process at the bare minimum. 3 specials online for Elongate right now as they force their way back into mid. Not really being contested right now. You have Kairu trying to come up, maybe provide a little bit of distraction, but Bane is going to pop that crab, taking them down in the process as well, taking Locke down too. A 2v2 situation right now for Bad and Elongate, but Elongate having tower in their possession. They are looking to try to flip the tides of this lead.
20 seconds remaining. They were on the checkpoint. They got a nice pick off that E-leader, but they had to fall off the tower, so now they got to go through the checkpoint once again. 10 seconds remaining. They have so much ground right now. We see the Splash trying to push up. We see the Enzyme trying to push up as well. Both of them get taken down, and it's just that crab's online. They got to watch out for that crab, and that is the wipeout for Bad here.
Man, I mean, Bad was coming out so strong from the get-go. I mean, you have Locke on that E-leader with just incredible precision and also really great positioning for the E-leader to be as well. Definitely struggled with the crabs that we got to see from Elongate happening in that last match, but my goodness, Elongate also had immaculate ink control, Maddie. I mean, they were holding down their plat in those first initial pushes, and were also holding the bats for as long as they possibly could, because they knew if Bad was able to break through and to obtain their bats area, it would have snowballed so hard, so badly, honestly, for them. So, I mean, wow, incredible defense put up by Elongate, but just the offense from Bad and the coordination that they were able to maintain throughout that match was just chef's kiss.
Yeah, we saw Logan on the duels there. It is a crab tank weapon, but it's not typically the crab tank weapon you see out there, but Logan certainly put to good use. The crab tank and the inkjet were really used effectively in those pushes. Like, we saw the crab getting set up on the left stacks there, and then we saw the inkjet as going into those bats. So, like, those are the key points you want, because half the checkpoints are on that side of the map, and once they were able to get past those, it was just a nice slide downhill for the rest of them. They weren't quite able to get the knockout, but that just put Elongate on defense for so long that they were able to just keep the rest of the match.
Yeah, and that can be unfortunate and pretty detrimental sometimes, right? If you can't really take your focus off of defense, it can be so hard to kind of rebound from that. Going now in, though, we're at game number 2 right now, Maddie. We're going into Rainmaker. It doesn't look like many changes from what I'm seeing.
I do see Kairu going on to the 52 there, and then the try getting swapped for the try nouveau. having that splash wall on Scorch is such an excellent addition because it's quite open. And, you know, when you have a backline on the opposite side, it's like there's not a whole lot of places to contest that when you're so open like that, but having that splash wall can certainly come in handy. Elongate, though, going with the runaway Rainmaker for the first opening. They are flipping the script now, getting the opening push here.
Yeah, and especially with the 52 able to take 2 picks before going down themselves, that was going to be really crucial for them. They're going to pick up the Rainmaker once again here. David able to take it down to the 40 mark before Bad is able to retaliate and get everybody out of their spawn area. Holy smokes. That was a quick wipeout to happen for Bad. Now Bad trying to reverse the Uno reverse card this situation right now, having lock on that Rainmaker there. You can see Balin's trying to break in and apply some pressure, but unsuccessful in doing so. 3 members now going down, and Bad are the ones almost finding themselves on this pedestal.
Getting the wipeout there was almost a free trip through mid, but just the map was so large that Elongate were able to get back. Genie with a nice pick, keeping them from getting that checkpoint. That just stalled for the amount of time they need to get the rest of their team back. While Bad has, once again, just a lot of map control in mid, Elongate is able to keep them from really getting too far with that Rainmaker, and that's really what you want to see.
Yeah, and I think having this Wavebreaker out too to kind of follow up with that Rainmaker pop is going to be crucial there. Locke getting a really nice pick with Vinny to follow up on that left side there. This way comes out. They wanted to try to push it for as far as they could. They got it down to the 36. A 1-point difference here, but you can see Logan is trying to hold it down with this crab tank, provide a bunch of pressure for Keiru and for Vinny to try to get back in here to get this pop. But it's actually going to be Elongate that is going to be successful on the pop, and you have Genie going over the side, the involuntary wipeout happening on the side of Elongate for the Rainmaker to go back into mid, but Bad is there and they are ready to take it once again.
Yeah, picking up the Rainmaker by Elongate was definitely the move to be with 1 point difference. Like, with how deep that is into the base, like, that 1 point could be the difference just because of how difficult it is to get past this one stretch. But so far, Bad, like, they still maintain their positions on the Elongate snipe, and that plat there is like, if they're able to get their specials up and going, they could certainly run away with it because Elongate's pretty much used most of theirs except for that cooler.
Yeah, and now we have Bad flipping the lead. Oh, just so briefly flipping the lead down to the 22 mark there. Elongate trying their hardest to maintain a lot of ink coverage in their spawning area. Now you have Bane and you have Genie trying to follow up with each other to try to push with the Inkjet and to not allow any space for Bad to take. With a few members going down, you still see Locke on that sniper line there, though, keeping a sharp eye on this lower pit area here for Elongate.
Yeah, having the combo of that E-Leer and the 52 in the positions that they are is so scary to fight against because you have the 52 like right up on your doorstep with the splash wall just painting and fire, and then behind that just the line of death watching you. Is like you can't step foot anywhere without getting sniped off, and Bad right now is just like they got it locked down. 22 points, they have the lead. They don't really need to really push it farther, but like having the Rainmaker and the Crab, the distance they have is like Elongate can't even get out of their spawn at this point.
Yeah, and they just got to play it super carefully, right, Maddie? I mean, there's only 1 minute and 15 left here. They were going to try to go for a couple more points, only managing to swipe 1 more point off of Elongate there, with 21 now being the score title. But you have Logan making their way into the spawn, taking 2 down, getting traded in the process here. They're just trying to prevent Elongate from getting out of the spawn for as long as possible. They're trying to delay them from picking up this Rainmaker, or for even trying to formulate some kind of plan to pick up the Rainmaker. But they're going to be successful in doing so anyway. We're looking back into this mid area. Genie getting back into mid successfully at the bare minimum there, getting that Rainmaker out of the spawning area for Elongate, so Elongate can try to formulate a plan. But the one member that had a special online with that stamp, oh no, they go back, they're alive. They're actually alive and they still got their special going on. Okay, that's really good for them. I was really sad for them for a moment. But now we still see that it looks like the members of Elongate are trying to formulate some kind of plan here, but not quite maybe having enough time to do it.
10 seconds remaining, and once again, Bad just has the upper hand as far as pain is concerned, and like with Rainmaker, that is pretty detrimental. Elongate is going to be picking it up, but it's sniped almost immediately, and because they had it, it's just going to be ending the game right there. No overtime because Elongate had the Rainmaker in the last couple of seconds. Oh, you hate to see it.
Yeah, I was absolutely bamboozled. That was bamboozled from that stamp going away and then coming back here. But congratulations to Bad for winning that match against Elongate, and Elongate, good games, good fight put up by you guys as well.
Yes, indeed. Like, we saw some a lot of attempts to break out of that lock that they had. We saw the inkjet, we saw the crab, and then we also saw the cooler pop. And I was like, the special coordination was definitely on point, but it's just the Maverick hero plays from the 52 and from Logan on the dualies, just like those 1v1s just like really threw them off their groove several times. Like, we saw Logan, the last one standing just deep in the enemy base, just bringing in the jumps and able to take down 2. So it just those kind of like berserker plays, just like it's hard to like really regroup after that.
Yeah, and something I really want to touch on that you said earlier is it's knowing when to reset the Rainmaker, right? That's a really difficult thing to call in the moment. And when you do make that call, whether or not you want to pick it up and just run it all the way through versus jumping off and then respawning back in and trying to make a new plan, then it's really difficult to do that. And I think how they were able to do that earlier with Genie picking up the Rainmaker and resetting it with only that 1 point difference, that to me was a moment where Genie made the right call to do that, because Bad was closing in on them, keeping them in spawn, not really letting any stone go unturned for them to try to break out, and Genie took that opportunity to try to recalibrate their focus in the game back to objective, right? And objective went all the way back to mid, and I mean, Scorch is huge, right? That's a long travel time to make if you are all the way back in your spawn and you have nobody that is safe to jump to. So, I mean, wow, quick decision making by Genie in that moment.
Oh, absolutely. Like, even if they had, 2 or 3 other players up, it's like, because of how close the points were, just one like misstep with the Rainmaker so deep into the spawn, there's like you could throw away the lead so quickly. So having it the reset, like you said, just was definitely the call to make right there.
Yeah, for real. But looking back, what we're looking at now, Maddie, we're going into top 4 and we have Rabid versus Legato. Oh my goodness, ladies, gents, everyone in between. This is a really good matchup here. Legato and Rabid both being frequent flyers here on Swimmer Sync. Now both of them returning here on 114 Great White Bracket. Rabid having some incredibly strong players, a group of friends that has played together for a really long time, but also Legato, like a household name at this point, Maddie, with how many different tournaments that Legato finds themselves playing in.
Oh yeah, it's hard to find an SOS if there isn't a Legato. They've been returning for both here and, as you said, like just several of our regular standing tournaments. So like, it's so nice to be able to see them come back again and again, to be able to see what they bring to the table. But as you said, Rabid is also becoming a household name, making a scene here and there. And so like seeing them in the top 4 is like really goes to show like just how far these players have been able to take their game.
Absolutely. And Maddie, I gotta ask you just to make sure, for my own peace of mind, did you buy our tickets? Did you buy our tickets to the museum? Because we're going to Museum
absolutely.
de Alfonsino Splat Zones to start us off here in top 4. Wow. Tell me a little bit about this map mode setup, advantages, disadvantages, maybe something that works really well here.
Well, first of all, I am a bit of a museum junkie, so I have the season pass to Museum at de Alfonsino.
Oh,
Second of all, these zones on the museum, we were talking about like Inkblot and even Scorch there with the E-Leader and the ballpoint backlines. Like, there's just a lot of open ground in this middle area, and having that spinner as well, it's such an excellent perch when you have control of the zone. We do see Tuxter here with the ballpoint spiraling, so being able to use that and the spinners on the edge of the plats, like you can get a lot of high ground advantage point from those.
Yeah, for sure. And right out the gate here, we have strikes coming out to maybe displace a little bit, but Rabid is going to be the first ones to put their points on this board. You have 3 members already breaking into the plat of Legato right now, Maddie. I mean, you have Shark doing exactly as the name implies. Shark going into a fight with Adapt being the loser in that fight, unfortunately. The double, the triple for Shark right now. Only 53 ticks on that board still, though, for Rabid to try to count this timer down. But Legato with that triple, absolutely crucial to shut that down.
I just want to point out that the funniest of this situation is yeah, we have Shark being the Shark, but Rabid had gotten the zone, taken 2 members of Legato down, and pushed onto their plat. So Shark was essentially sharking their own plat to get those picks right there and just flip the script. But already, Rabid back at it again and on Legato's plat. We see the spinners, I talked about the ballpoint use of the spinner. The dualies here is you don't expect the dualies from above. Well, I take that back. Shark certainly saw them.
Shark certainly expected it. And
right,
already, after you, what do you got?
Well, it's just a fight for zone right now. We see the Ink Strike and we see the Zuga coming out, but Legato losing 3 of their members there. I think Rabid might be able to hold on to the zone here. They have the lead still, but that's going to be the rest of their penalty gone. And with how aggressive they've been so far, it's Legato's got to really bring a good front to break them out of this hole that they have. We saw the nice triple from Shark earlier. We're going to have to see something like that in order for them to stop this push.
Yeah, and Hermit right away with this brush here going out with the Killer Whale to try to follow up to cause some displacement here, because all 3 members of Rabid that are moving that have a lot of mobility were kind of sitting in mid there. 3 of them now going down. You have Aaron now on the respawn, though, with the 3 members trying to trickle in behind them. That penalty now, though, for Legato being almost completely taken away, and there it goes. But you have Tugster trying to watch this right side here, which I think could be really detrimental for Rabid, especially because Rabid has a lot of really strong sharking potential with their comp right now. And I just really want to touch on this squeezer pick, too, from Aaron. A really interesting pick that you see in high-level gameplay, because I want to say too, because Rabid is a Division 2 team, Maddie, and I feel in a lot of Division 2 settings, squeezer is usually not the choice.
No, I agree. It was definitely strong back in Splatoon 2, but it's just not in the same place as it once was. But combining it with the dapples here, it's you can get some nice mid-range here, but already we're seeing Legato here taking the hold all the way to the lead. We'll have to see if they're able to hold on to it to the knockout. 2 down for both sides. Rabid fighting desperately to control it, but the wipeout is going to decide the game.
And just, you and I getting so into this match too, because I feel like you and I have so much to say about both of these teams, because these are both such strong contending teams coming into here. Wow, I really would like to talk about earlier, we got to see a really nice overview shot of the Inkjet versus the Trizuka gameplay. You had Aaron on that Trizuka sitting on their plat, trying to fight with the Inkjet that was flying around on the spinner in mid. Both of them near misses on their shots, but my goodness, the amount of precision that you need to try to not only hit someone out of the air, but also hit somebody with Inkjet in the air with a lot of other obstacles in your way as well, and moving obstacles at that.
Oh, I know. It is a hailstorm of fire going on out there. When we saw Legato when they got that zone back initially, they threw out the Ink Strikes, and it's just they took that special and just the entire map just changed colors almost immediately. We were talking about the level of gameplay here. They not only used their specials to get the zone back, but they used it to take positions back. They threw out they saw the Inkjet following up the missiles, and then they just took the zone back, not just use it to paint, but they were able to move forward. And once they had control of that, and then also control of Rabid's plat, they pretty much were able to lock down up into the knockout.
And now, Maddie, taking what we got to see from both of these 2 really strong teams, moving into tower control and Hagglefish Market, I mean, one thing I know for certain is that Adapt is a very strong bucket and blaster player, and how that kind of fits into the comp with Rabid is really interesting to me, especially because you had that Squelcher pick and you had the Dooley pick. But looking here, there is a little bit of a change-up. You have Adapt going on that machine. Squeeze is going to bring out the N-Zap. I love seeing the support of N-Zap come out more and more into gameplay, and we still have that Squeezer going on for the side of Rabid as well.
Indeed, this map is definitely a lot more elongated but it just like requires a lot more brute force in order to take ground back. With Museum, you kind of had some wiggle room with some of the flanks that we are sorely missing, but already we're seeing 2 down for the side of Legato, and we didn't really mention the brush from the last one. I could imagine using that for zones, but tower control, that's definitely an interesting pick.
Yeah, they have so much mobility, and I'm curious to see, especially with such a heavy flank map, how are they going to utilize that here? But it looks like we kind of just got that answer right in front of us. I mean, Hermit not only was using that killer whale for some displacement, but they were hiding in the shadow of the waves, of the whales, to try to get themselves closer to go for picks. And they were able to take one by the whale alone, but you also have Shark following up with killer whales as well. So there's 2 of them moving around on the map. Rabid does not have a lot of places to stand. They need to be really cautious about their footing here.
You know, it's like as you were saying that, my brain finally caught up with the comp that Legato was running. Like, going back to how long this and straight this map is, dual whales is like, as you said, there's not a whole lot of room to run. It's like when you pop both of those, it's just like walk forward and then take space, especially when you got the brush who is as quick as it is. But that was such an excellent opening push right there. Daniels it down to 33 for Legato. Wasn't able quite to get the second checkpoint, but got about halfway through it.
Oh gosh, Adapt finds themselves in a hard between a rock and a hard place here, with Hermit trying to corner them with the killer whale and also running out of ink as well in that 1v1 fight, unfortunately going down. Legato in control of this tower once again. They're so close to breaking the second checkpoint, and if they're able to do that, then it's going to be a really, really strong defense game that Rabid has to play in order to keep them off. But with Hermit and Shark teaming up on these whales, and then with the tri-strikes to come in to follow up, it's proving to be really difficult for Rabid to maintain their footing and to try to go for picks. But we're going to see that Rabid is going to try to change the tides here. 3 down going down on the side of Legato, and Rabid trying to break back into this mid area, trying to get some more ink on the ground.
Indeed, like, looks like they're finally able to get some ground off of that. We saw the nice plays by the Zuka, but the brush coming in and trying to clean up. They do get finally taken out, but this is going to be the turning time for Rabid here. They're able to take control of the mid and finally start their own push. So far, Legato does not have any specials online, so it's essentially a free checkpoint for Rabid here. They have a bit of a ways to go to get that lead back, but they are getting this push off strong. Now, similar to Inkblot, actually, this right side here, the bats, like, that is the key position you want to take control of. We see Kratz here on the defense. That is going to be the place they're going to be sitting just to keep them from getting that second checkpoint. So unless Rabid is able to throw some specials that way, as Legato did when they made their push, it's going to be tough to get past that second checkpoint.
Yeah, and Kratz did a beautiful job of executing, as you were talking, Maddie, holding onto that bats area, keeping a lot of ink down, and also throwing those tri-strikes out so that Rabid could not feel safe to try to get back up into that second checkpoint. But once again, Legato is finding themselves in a 3-down situation, and especially with one trying to follow up back into mid here. But Rabid has a really strong control of mid. Squeege is going to throw out that juice right here because that's going to be really helpful for them to try to stay into this game. 2 of them coming down into bats on the side of Legato, trying to look for picks, trying to just put some ink down, prevent any sort of movement from happening. We haven't seen some whales in a while, and as I say that, one of them comes out to play here, and 3 go down on the side of Rabid with that Booyah Bomb to follow up to try to hold as much space as they possibly could. Squeege trying to come in on the jump there, and is successful in doing so. Hermit going down in the process. Can they flip the lead here, Maddie?
They certainly can, getting it down to 19. They're on their 3rd checkpoint here and still going strong. We were talking about the control of the bats. With the brush did their best, but they just weren't quite tall enough to reach the tower, and so having a member jumping onto the tower and then keep control of the bats is going to allow them the leverage they need to get that KO.
Yeah, wow. I mean, the tides were in Legato's favor for a majority of that match, but then Rabid, I think what really did it for them too, I think in the beginning of that push, was that cooler going down from Squeege. Squeege threw that cooler down as soon as that tower made headway into the second checkpoint. Everybody got juice right away, and then they all were like, all right, it's all or nothing here. if I die, I die. I will be back into this game lickety-split. And I think that's exactly the kind of thinking that they had, because especially with the type of aggression that Rabid likes to bring out into these games, they were beelining it for the spawn area of Legato as soon as they had that juice online. And Legato, you could see, was trying to get at least 2 people into that bats area to prevent any more momentum that Rabid was having. But Rabid was quick on their feet, and they got enough ink on the ground to where they had the mobility on their side, even with the killer whales coming out to try to prevent them from doing any more damage.
Oh, absolutely. It's like as soon as that juice hits home, was like, all right, all caution is off, just hold W key. We were going in, and like they didn't have that in that first match. You know, they had the dually squelchers, they had the bucket, and they had the squeezer. 3 very midline weapons. Like they had a bit of range to work with, but it's just like they weren't quite able to utilize their aggressive tactics quite as effectively as they did here. Having that ends up with the cooler, as you said, just allows them to be twice as aggressive as they normally would have. And once again, on a map as long as Hagglefish, like you need a little bit more aggressive place in order to brute force your way through. You can't really finesse your way through as you can on Museum.
Yeah, and especially too, like you said, the flanking that can occur on Hagglefish is also so crucial. So if you have that aggression in your pocket, I mean, it can be a field day for you if you're able to take those flanks safely into Shark successfully. But we're at a 1-to-1 situation. We're going to game 3, Maddie. Rainmaker on Manta Maria. Any changes in comp that you're seeing here?
None, as I can see. Adapt going to the Tri-Slosher with that Inkjet rather than the sloshing machine. Going for a little bit more speed, a little bit more aggression, as if they need any more of that. But for Rainmaker, having that extra speed can certainly come in handy, especially with the unfortunate nerfs that our sloshing machine has taken. But like Rabid, getting off to a strong start, taking the Rainmaker, getting so much paint in mid, they're gonna not get that checkpoint.
They were really close, but just not quite. Legato there to play the defense strong and hard, and to keep it going right now here. They're going to take the pop, but they're going to wait for Rabid to feel like that they can push forward here. And they're trying, the Dooley trying their absolute best to take this fight with Crass, but goes down off the boat, jumps off the boat in the process. The Tri-Strikes coming out in mid here, trying to get some space back. You have Shark looking to almost finding themselves in a 2v1 situation, but Adapt is going to opt out and try to go for the Rainmaker to push it a little further. But now Legato has so much of mid control on their side, and they also have those killer whales too in the street area there to try to make Rabid look for different places to hide and feel safe. But the tides have turned once again, as Rabid is going to take 3 members down of Legato and prevent that Rainmaker at the 65. A 1-point difference, Maddie.
You know, if you pardon the football analogy, both teams have been so far towing that end zone line right there. It's like they've been just trying to blizzard their way through. We saw Rabid throwing player after player up against that pedestal, but not quite able to knock it out. Legato now getting a taste of their own medicine, once again trying to just get the last remaining point that they need to get the checkpoint, but just not quite able to do so, and that's going to leave them in a 3-down situation, allowing Rabid to really take back space. We see the dualies up in the bunker, one of the staging grounds you want to have control of, and looks like they're just trying to find a path that's open to go through.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of communication happening live here right now. Squeege is being very patient right now. They see that the right side is going to be open in the best, most optimal situation for them, looking to find Herman and pinch them into a 2v1 situation with Adapt chasing them to follow up. Squeege once again is going to pick up this Rainmaker. They can see the finish line is in sight. You have Adapt trying to follow up on this Inkjet as well, keeping an eye on the mask, also getting a pick in the process and looking for a second pick on Herman in that little back corner area there. But Legato, I think, is going to have a strong hold on defense here as an Inkjet of their own comes out. But as I say that, Maddie, 3 members of Legato go down. Squeege is looking for another entry point. They are just inches away from this checkpoint, and victory is so close.
This is looking scary for Legato. Like, Rabid is just sitting in Legato's street right now, and they are able to get the nice 3 down there, but just they were struggling to just break the hold that Rabid had on them. But they got it down to 10 points. Like, that is not quite a knockout, but pretty darn close. So Legato's really gonna have to get a really solid push to bring this back. They do have 2 minutes left to do so, but with how Rabid has been playing so far, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, time is definitely going to be working against them here, especially right there. You could see they were just trying to get some points and take that checkpoint down. They just need to break down the wall of that checkpoint to turn this into potentially a fair fight, because they just have to get it straight down to where the 9 mark to try to flip this lead. But Rabid is just so quick to respond, and it's definitely that juice that is helping them so much, Maddie. They are able to stay in this game longer because they are able to respond so quickly and jump back in so quickly that it's like they weren't even off the field.
Oh, absolutely. But unfortunately, it is going to leave Squeeze, the last one remaining, with the Rainmaker pop taking down several members of Rabid. But as you said, like, their response time is so quick. It's like barely a second went by. They're already back on defense, locking down the street. And that's going to be a 3 down in return for Legato. With 40 seconds remaining, that's not what you want to see for them. Looking at this overview, like, there's just so much blue right now. Rabid has just doing a good job of keeping it in control and picking up the Rainmaker to take it to the corner. Like this is not looking good for Legato.
Yeah, they have it at a really good defensive point right now, especially on this platform area. But with the Inkjet coming in from Tug on the side, Legato still wants to be in this game, Maddie. They still want to try to make their way in and make it known too. But Aaron is trying to defend that Rainmaker with their Trizuka, but just not having enough shots to be able to do that. They're able to take 1 down in the process. Legato, though, in overtime, looking to try to break this checkpoint and try to get some more points on the way. But with all of Rabid in the street area and looking up to this bunker, it's not going to be easy for them to do it, Maddie.
They're finding an uphill battle here, having to break through a solid wall right now. They do get the 2 down, but with members sharking left, right, and center, they do get the checkpoint, but with 3 members down, that is going to be a full wipeout, and Rabid is going to be able to pick up this Rainmaker and end the game right there.
Oh, man. Oh, man, oh, man. What a fight to the very bitter end, Maddie. I mean, unbelievable to me. Both teams, for a lot of that, was just like, well, now you have 3 down, so we're going to push. Well, yeah, well, now you have 3 down, so we're going to push. Okay, well, now this is our turn. You already had your turn, now it's our turn.
The lead would flip, tables have been flipped, everything is getting flipped around here. But just the consistency that Rabid was able to bring, just once again, the response time, to be able to effectively use that cooler to like, all right, we're down, but we're back. Never down, but we're back again. Like, you can't keep them down. And so just the pressure that they were able to exert because of that just finally wore down Legato.
Yeah, absolutely. But well fought by Legato. Looking over at our bracket here this evening, folks. Happy birthday to Toba. Toba's birthday bash and Legato going to find themselves in the 3rd place round facing off together. But looking into our final round, Maddie, as we saw earlier, we got to hang out with Bad and Elongate, but Bad is going to find themselves into the finals, and we are also going to be saying hello to Rabid. Once again, Rabid is here to stay, finding themselves in the finals of Great White here. I mean, already, Maddie, from what we've seen from both teams, Rabid has quite an aggressive comp, and they are going to stick with it for as much as they can, but how are they going to contest the E-leader coming out from Lock on the side of Bad?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. Like, we've seen them go up against several ballpoint comps so far, and, you know, like, one would argue that a ballpoint has got a little bit more aggression and mobility than a E-leader does, but an E-leader just got to look at you and you're already back at spawn. I think the one thing that will play into Rabid's favor is just, once again, that cooler, able to take a hit and then just get back right up again.
Yeah, I would agree with you there, and I also think that the Inkjet and Crab coordination that we got to see from Bad earlier against Elongate was also something to really contend with, because as we saw, Rabid did not incorporate any Crab into their comp in that last matchup that we got to see with them. And I mean, the same could be said for Legato as well. I mean, we had so much killer whale coming from Legato. We went from crabs to whales with Legato. So I'm curious to see how Rabid is going to maneuver themselves on these next map modes coming up here, especially with Locke being on that E-Leader and being a really, really sharp shooter on that E-Leader, but also with the Crab Inkjet kind of compilation that we got to see from Bad before. I mean, special coordination is a really hard thing to contend against, Maddie. I mean, even with Juice at your side and you're able to respond and get back into the map super quickly, sure. But if you have two really aggressive specials that are able to complement each other really well, sometimes the juice might not matter.
No, 100% is like that is what differentiates a good team from a less than good team, is how well they're able to chain and use your specials together. It is like the name of the game, and for this kind of competitive play is like, we're getting into finals here. You want to be able to see like several of their specials just getting played one after the other. Yes, as you said, just the juice is handy, but you know, if they're not able to combo it well with the rest of their team, it doesn't really get its full effectiveness.
And right away, looking at this first one, we're going back to school. Grab your textbooks, your pencils, your pens, maybe your recorder to record some lectures, because we're going back to Inkblot Art Academy, and we're playing Clam Blitz to open it up here. Here we go, Great White Finals. We have Rabid versus Bad for you tonight, ladies, gents, everyone between. And Locke is switching to a heavy Splatling.
Let's go. I am loving this so far. We're also going to be seeing Logan back on those dualies, Kaoru on the 52, and then also the Tri Nouveau bringing their own juice to the table.
Yeah, they are. Look at that. Juice coming out for the side of Bad, so Bad is going to actually maybe take a couple notes from Rabid here, and they're going to bring out some juice of their own. But we still have that squeezer too with Aaron on the side of Rabid, which I still just think is such a fascinating pick. Bad is going to be the first ones to make that basket pop, though, with a little sneaky play there by Vinny, I believe, with all three members of Bad that are still alive kind of trying to just hold on to mid right now. Pity Clam is going to be had for Rabid, though, and we're kind of just back into the neutral game at this point. Bad is doing a great job of maintaining themselves in mid. You can see Locke and Kaoru trying to push up a little bit. Kaoru having a few clams in their economy, maybe looking to try to get some more here. Just trying to take the fight to Rabid right now, it looks like, Maddie.
Indeed, like we're seeing once again what we saw against Elongate earlier. Bad is able to take ground, but then they're also able to hold it for pretty extended periods of time. You know, against Rabid's more flexible comp, able to move as the the match progresses, but they're finding a pretty strong force here with Bad, especially having that the heavy splatling. Once again, we were talking about the ballpoint having mobility. The Splatling even more so. It looks like Rabid is finally able to break that hold, though, but they don't really have any of the oh, I take that back. They have plenty of clams to back that up.
Yeah, they've got a lot of clams in their back pocket there. They got 16 online, but with Locke being the only one having clams in their economy right now, holding on to the power clam. Rabid is looking to try to make an entrance right here, Maddie. Looking maybe to work together. They're definitely going to try to utilize this juice as much as they can. They don't have too much to lose, and the trades are something that they can afford to take here. Vinny's going to take Aaron down, but they themselves get taken down in the process as well. Adapt is going to try to see if they can reach with this slosher, trying to reach Logan. They're successful in the fight of doing so. There's only 2 members up, I believe, right now for Bad. One of them trying to respawn in. A trade happening between Logan and the Squelcher player, but I mean, Bad is putting down a lot of defense. They're holding their basket area so tightly, and Rabid, I think, is having a little bit of nervous energy here to try to break in.
Indeed, like they seem to have quite a good hold of mid right here, but like they're, as you said, they're not able to progress farther than that. Bad doing an excellent job of keeping control of their own plat, which is really the key point that you need in a Clan Bliss match. But we might be able to see Rabid break that hold. Just both of these teams have their own like wild card players that are just going in and making these insane plays. But it just seems like with the small lead that they had, Bad just has the slight advantage in that department.
Yeah, they definitely do. They were able to get that one initial basket pop, and it's worked for them so far. One member going down, though. Logan going down. Two now going down. Can Rabid take advantage of this man advantage? And they do, with one more going down. Locke being the only one alive over on that plant area. The lead has been flipped. They're able to get that second power clam in there to follow up with some change to spare. 54 now with only a little less than 2 minutes to go. Adapt looking to take this fight with Logan, but Logan is successful, and Aaron going to need to retreat, but just can't quite do it. Rabid looking to try to go back into their own platform area, and Bad is now taking control of mid.
Indeed, we saw just a couple members went down, but it was just enough that Bad needed to once again flip that script, take control, and now we are seeing so much orange in mid right now. 54 is going to be a fair amount of clams to bring that back. Not a huge lead, but with only a minute remaining, with how slow this match has been going, it might just be the lead that they need. We do see the crab getting popped right there. They have one power clam plus several to back it up, but I think Rabid is taking a leaf out of Bad's book. They're locking down their own plat so effectively, but already we're seeing another sneaky play from the Splatling of all things to break open that basket.
Yeah, Locke was able to get in as close as they could to try to at least get that power claim in there and take away that penalty. Unfortunately, not too much to follow up, though, so that penalty of 11 is going to knock them down a peg, I believe. But with 54, there's only like a few point difference, less than 10-point difference right now for them, Maddie. They're like, Bad is really trying to look to see if they can get that other power clamp in there, and especially utilizing the killer whale. But what is this? We see a jump. Oh, okay, that's their own. That's their own basket. I was like, a sneaky jump that we see happening here, but is shut down pretty quickly.
Indeed, Saf. Like, we just saw the clam go over, but that's going to be the basket open once again, but needs 2 clams in order to get the lead, and they are not able to get those in. With the wipeout, overtime is going to be ending as quickly as it started. Rabid taking this first match in clams on Inkblot.
Oh my gosh. Maddie, if it's one thing that I've come to learn about Rabid, and something that they are very good at and they excel at, is that they take full advantage of a man disadvantage. You know what I'm saying? I mean, as soon as Bad was 2 members down, Rabid was like, it's go time. They were immediately on that plat. They had a power clamp to try to pop, and then they were able to successfully and safely get another power clamp in there to follow up and to flip the lead with some change to follow up as well. But as soon as the man advantage is in the favor of Rabid, that is when their time to act starts. And I've noticed this a few times, and especially when they get that juice going as well, they pop the tacticooler when at least 1 or 2 people is down, to try to give their most aggressive players the utmost advantage to try to win their fights and go down in trades. Rabid is not afraid to take trades regardless of what their score is.
That's so true, Saf. And I think, as you said, the cooler just increases that so much more so. And when you see, like, we saw that one flank right at the end there, is just also the cheeky plays like that you just, you don't expect it coming out in such a high level of play right here, but you just, there's so many just wild plays coming out from these teams.
Yeah, and I do want to touch again on that Splatling pick from Locke. When we got to watch Bad play a little bit earlier, it felt like Locke was pretty, like, stuck in their positioning, right? Like, they didn't want to push forward unless it was safe. They had to keep the high ground. They had to keep their distance using that E-leader, but allowing this heavy Splatling, and it's going to come out again in Splat Zone's Umami here. Having that Splatling gives them so much more mobility to use at their disposal. And as I was saying it before, remember when I said no crab for Rabid? I changed my mind. There is a splash with a crab on both sides, actually, at this point.
Indeed, we're seeing the splash come out, and I could definitely see that. Zones is definitely the mode you want to have a crab, and Umami even more so. But I want to, like, go to the Splatling pick as well. Like, as a Splatling main myself, Umami Zones is such a good map to use it on. You have some nice cover, like, not a whole lot of cover though, so you can't pick off the other shorter range players, but it can certainly do you good. But You have to be able to get into position on that, and so far Rabid just got the early position, and we've seen that Crab in the position you want to be as a backline, and they're just not letting them have it.
Yeah, and Logan is quick to follow up with the Crab of their own as well on that little elbow piece there in front of the zones. But Rabid is holding on tightly to both of these zones right now, Maddie, and they are now going to take this time to push up and push forward and make sure that Bad has no other way to enter back into this zone right now. You have Adapt kind of holding it down on that left side little tower area there with Squeech just kind of helping follow up, and they have the Cooler ready as well. And there goes the Crab once again with the Tri-Strikes to follow up as well, kind of pincering the members of Bad into one area in that front zone there, and then Adapt is going to be able to take the fights there. I mean, Rabid, that game was Rabid the whole way down.
You know, Seth, like, that is the one thing of this map mode combo that you really got to watch out for. First of all, on zones, if you lose a fight to get back to zone, that is going to put you at such a huge disadvantage, because that is basically lose so much time that is taken away for the other team. But then second of all, the fact that it's on Umami Ruins, if you get a wipeout like that, we saw Rabid just pushed forward so far, and the lockout is so much tougher to break out of, and just they weren't able to do so in time before the knockout.
Yeah, and one thing too, Maddie, that's so impressive about these types of plays that these teams make is that as soon as they were able to get that lockout, you could see the members of Rabid not only push so far forward into that spawning kind of ramp area of Umami there for Bad, but the members they spread out. They fanned out and tried eyes on every entry point back into the map, and that's exactly how you want to play it. You want to make sure that not only can you provide enough pressure to maybe make some people nervous to either jump down or to, you know, watch their back, but you also want to make sure that there's no unsuspecting flank, there's no unsuspecting move of someone getting out and shifting your focus away from trying to keep them away from objective. And Rabid was comfortable to leave that zone in their favor behind to try to play more aggressively and push forward.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, that is the thing you do see from a non-backline comp. Like, when you don't have a backline, there's not really anyone to leave on the zone. So you have 4 players just in the enemy spawn, and as you said, they were able to spread out and just cover a lot more ground. They didn't focus on one particular aspect. They weren't allowing a blind spot from flanks, as you said, and so they were able to keep control so much more effectively and for so much longer because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And gosh, they play off of each other so well. And what I enjoy so much is that this is also like a group of good friends that are playing together here on Rabid. And it's fun to see how much that they've grown and come through, but also the same to Bad as well. Bad is such a strong team too, and we have Locke once again switching back over to that E leader for tower control here. An excellent choice because it was so successful for them on tower control and Inkblot like we saw earlier.
Oh, absolutely. You know, Makamart is got a very similar size and style to Inkblot there, but with it being tower control, there's going to be one place you know there's going to be an enemy Inkling, so having an E-leader in hand is just going to make them scared from getting on top of that until they take them out, and they take them out indeed. That's going to be 3 down to open up for Bad. Rabid once again getting the early aggression as well as the early push.
Yeah, and you have Squeege is going to pop that Tacticooler right on top of the tower there, so the members of Rabid know where their center point is to try to get some juice and to get that quick respawn in their pockets. Locke able to set up on this higher ground area here, but they are receiving a lot of pressure from Adapt, and so the other members of Bad are looking to try to push them out, but Keiru goes down in the process. Logan and Vinny trying to look for an entry point here, but not really successful in doing so because you have Adapt and Aaron watching these drop points near where the second checkpoint is. And Rabid is doing an excellent job even just to hold this tower in this corner here. They don't want it to go back to mid, Maddie. That would backtrack all of the work that they've done so far. Logan getting an excellent pick there with the Trizuka, looking for another one. Unsuccessful in doing so, though. Bad is now breaking back out into the map.
You know, that leads to an interesting point of strategic letting the other team get points. To put it right away, it's like having the tower move from that ledge to that corner right there. We saw the bucket and the shot just covering that ledge so effectively. It's like Logan was and the rest of Bad was able to break up, but as soon as the tower shifted away from that, kept the focus away from that, then we saw the Ingzuka come out and just pick off the unsuspecting players of Rabid and just allow the Bad to get the upper hand here.
Yeah, and sometimes playing the objective really patiently is the way to go, which I feel that's exactly what Rabid is trying to do here. They were just holding the tower in that corner, but you're absolutely right. As soon as that tower was able to shift away from the Melons area, Bad was able to reformulate and respond and get Rabid away from the tower. Adapt was trying to look for a pick there, but Keiru was able to be keen on the flank and was able to take them out. Bad now getting back onto the tower, looking to try to take their first checkpoint here. Gonna take one from Rabid's playbook and pop that juice onto the tower there, giving everybody a little bit of boost there for respawn. You have the Inkjet as well trying to follow up with Keiru, looking up onto this plat area to see if there's any picks that can be had or some pressure can be applied. Rabid is finding difficulty to try to get back out into this map because of that. So the first checkpoint for Bad is now going to be broken, but with the Inkzuka coming out and the Crab to follow up as well. But the Crab getting taken down by 2 Inkzuka shots coming out from Logan. Rabid is trying to look to prevent this tower from going any further, but Bad is making it oh so hard for them.
So the Enzan popping that juice on tower not only is going to give juice to the tower fighter, but a little bit of a shield as well. Down to just 1 point. That lead is going to flip right there, and we did see Rabid be able to drop down, but they're not able to keep the tower from moving forward. The leader is set up on the right side here. That is an excellent place for it to be. And you have the jumps coming in, and with the Inkjet on top of that, Bad is able to keep this push going, even though Rabid is getting some nice trades out here.
Yeah, Locke was in a really good position to be really far forward on that stack there, but Rabid being able to have the more aggressive upper hand to come back into this map area. Locke got taken down and somebody else in the process as well. Rabid looking to try to contest this lead again here. They have a pretty good control of mid. The Crab is going to come out and maintain this NZAP in this corner here. Successful in the fight. Looking to see maybe if they can make a little bit of a flank here. Maybe take some attention off of the objective here. Looks like they get the attention of Vinny. Take Vinny's attention away from the tower a little bit here, which I don't think is super good for them, because now you have the Ink Strikes coming out for the side of Rabid, clearing up a little bit of space. Locke has a really good sight line onto that tower, but Rabid is not going to be afraid, and they are going to flip this lead once again. Even though they went into the wipeout, they have 7 points to try to flip this lead once again. Bad. 30 seconds left on the clock.
There were some very key picks on Bad right there from Rabid. We saw the Ether go down. We saw the shot go down. Both of them were the key contenders to keep them off the tower, and with them out of commission, that allows them to get the little bit of points that they needed. The Inkjet coming out, trying to find something, but does not. Locke is going to be holding the tower for as long as they can, but with 15 seconds and a Crab staring you down, there's not a whole lot you can do. It's like they just need a couple more points to bring the lead back. But Rabid, they got all their specials online. The Ink Strike is going to be following up the Crab, and that is going to just lock down this game.
Oh, to the bitter end for Bad, to the very bitter end. You could see Vinny trying to be the last one, the last contender to get onto that tower to prevent that overtime banner from going across the screen and prevent the game from ending. But it is Rabid who is going to come on top here, 3-0, taking SOS 114 all the way home.
You know, what's impressive is Bad went undefeated in the rest of Great White until they met Rabid. Like, they went 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, and then they met Rabid and just went 0-3. So just the skill level of these teams in this grand finals is just it is up there.
Yeah, wow, look at that, folks. Exactly as Maddie said, and looking into this bracket here, Bad had quite a run this evening on Swimmer's Sink. I mean, wow, taking all of their games 2-0 all the way up to the bitter end, with Rabid coming in on top though instead. I mean, and Rabid didn't have like the easiest time coming in here too. And it's one thing my friend Toba always says, the scoreboard doesn't tell the whole story, right? So it's like, yeah, there could be a 2-0, yeah, there could be a 3-0, but that 3-0 for Rabid against Bad was not easy to get. And it's the same thing for Rabid's story, making it all the way into finals tonight. That was not easy for them to do. There was a lot of stuff that had to happen for them to get to where they are right now. And so, I mean, wow, both such strong contending teams coming out here into the finals tonight, and big congratulations to Rabid for taking your win this evening, and big congratulations to Bad as well for making it that far and getting second as well. That is not anything to gawk at or be disappointed about. Like that's a fantastic run for them.
Oh, absolutely. Like, yeah, yes, you didn't get the crown, you didn't get the final victory, but you were so close. It goes to show like how far that you've made it, how well you were able to play up to this point. It's just like, it is, yeah, as you said, it is nothing to be ashamed of whatsoever.
Yeah, it's quite a run and quite a feat to get all the way up into Great White and get into second place practically undefeated in your sets. I mean, it's really, really amazing to be able to do that, and it takes a lot of skill to do that. But Maddie, I think that's going to be it for us here on Swimmer Sync tonight, and I'd really like to know, where can the good people of the internet-verse, the universe, anywhere else, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me in all the usual places, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube at IMedGamerII. I have been on a bit of a hiatus, but hopefully starting to get back into some streaming this week. We'll have to see, but I definitely need to start practicing for Riptide. That's going to be later in September. Looking forward to that. But Saf, where can the good people find you?
You can find me on Twitter. That's at Safirea, 2 P's, 2 A's, at Safirea on Twitter. Or in just 1.5 short months, you can also find me at Riptide, playing alongside my dear friend iMadGamer the second. Thank you guys so very much, and to the folks over at IPL for having us here tonight. Thank you very much to our casters tonight. We have Toshi and Boing kind of on the sidelines here with me and Maddie and casting for us. So thank you both so very much for being here with us this evening. And thank you to all of you viewers out there as well for getting to hang out with us tonight and to watch these really amazing games. We all hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week, a wonderful weekend, and enjoy anything else that's going on tonight for you. Thank you all so very much.
Yes, have a good night, everyone.